Okay. Trying to figure something out first, guys. Oh, here we go. Need water. Goodness. Okay, good. Hey, guys. Okay, just getting all set up. Why aren't you vegan yet? I have my headphones in. I don't know if I need them though. Yeah. So I was reading about foie gras, and most foie gras is made from male ducks. It used to be geese, and you can get foie gras from both genders, but apparently it's preferred to use the males. So females are culled, much like the males are here in the U.S. I mean, it's much like most countries cull their baby chicks that are male that won't lay eggs. So they cull the females the same way for the ducks because their livers are apparently less quality. Vegetarian actually seems a little weird. You know, like, what are your reasons for being vegetarian? Is it that you don't want to harm animals? If that's the case, why are you still demanding that a cow be graped for you? That chickens continually be kept in barns where they're also graped over and over again so that we get more chickens that produce eggs. Like, anybody that hasn't, go look up what a hatchery looks like. Go look at where the parents are that made the eggs or the chickens that you use to make eggs. That is also they're being factory farmed. Even if the chickens you buy, you put on a backyard or, you know, huge acre or whatever. It's not about what you eat. It's about the individuals. It'd be like if I went to, you know, the Humane Society and bought cats every week so that I could unalive them and barbecue them. Eggs, so chickens were once called the red jungle fowl. We took them out of their home and we made them mate with individuals they wouldn't normally mate with so that they could increase how many eggs they produce. They went from 13 a year to 300 or more. Guys, I need to. So when you get chickens now, you're perpetuating individuals be forced into existence to be your slave. Sorry, my water was empty and I just desperately need water. I do take supplements. I think everybody should be taking supplements. They found that most people are deficient in something because we don't know how to eat. Most people aren't taught how to properly eat. We're just taught with culture, habit, convenience, taste, pleasure. It's like, well, we need to educate ourselves. Science is showing us that we can thrive using plants. So why are we subjugating a innocent being who is having their own subjective experience and has the capacity to suffer, has subjective feelings like pain? Yeah, hunting is also terrible because you're taking someone out of their home who is just enjoying their life. And on top of that, the number of animals that we raise to unalive is 92.2 billion. We raise that many animals and feed them annually. You're just adding to the death toll. That doesn't even include animals that are bred for like clothing or animals that are culled before being slaughtered. So you're just adding, I mean, and on top of that, the animals that we raise, they are like, I think it was 60% of the total mammal biomass. The cows, the pigs, all the mammals, they make up 60% of our mammal biomass. We make up 30. The wild animals are 36, and the wild animals only take up 4%. And then you're out there taking that tiny percent out, and you think that you're a better individual because you're not participating in the other thing, but you're just the same. Of course sardines are not okay. They're still a sentient being that wanted to keep swimming. Fish have feelings. Yeah, no, you're not a vegan. You're just a rude person. Hey, Cherry. You gotta be over 18. I'll bring you up. But you gotta be over 18. All right, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 21. Um, so why should I not eat
Well, no,
meat?
first, I want to know why aren't you vegan?
Because meat tastes good.
Oh, okay. Did you know that humans were called long pig?
No, I
Do,
I don't know
so,
that.
okay, you should look up the term long pig and human. We are referenced as tasting similar to pig. So now that humans taste like bacon, am I morally justified to remove a human and take their life so that I may have human bacon?
No, because American law bans you from killing other humans.
Oh,
Also,
so what if I go to a place, I'm asking you the questions. What if I go to a place where there's no law? Is it moral for me to do this? You can unmute yourself now. I just don't want you to feel like you need to talk over me or take charge of the live. It's my live. If you don't feel comfortable with it, you can leave. I understand it feels hostile,
yeah,
but
don't worry, I'm not gonna ask you any questions. I'm trying to respond to what you're asking me.
no, you were continuing. That's why I muted you. I was just explaining why I did that.
Yeah,
So
so
my question is, if I go somewhere where there's no law, is it moral for me to take someone's life to now make bacon? And it's not a survival situation. I'm just doing it for the taste.
yeah, sure. If there's no law, if you're in a
So
place
you don't
where
believe in human rights?
human rights,
Yeah. Do you think that I should respect your autonomy?
in a in a place with no laws, right? No laws at
Yeah,
all.
right.
Nothing matters. You're in no man's land. Do whatever
So
you want.
you don't wait. You don't have a preference to be left, alone.
What if I had a
So
preference to
I
be
have a sharp object, okay? Let's say this. I have a sharp object and I'm going to start swinging it around and there's a chance that I might harm you.
can I
Should I
answer your
take the
question?
fact No. Should I take into consideration the fact that you have the capacity to suffer? I'm going to swing an object that might cause you harm. Should I take into consideration that you can suffer?
In what environment? Are we still in no
Doesn't matter.
man's land or
Yep,
what?
no man's land. No man's land. I don't need to do this. You're not threatening me. We're totally safe and have food security, but I'm going to swing this object that might cause you harm. Should I consider, hey, you're an individual who can suffer, I shouldn't swing this object near you? Or should I just do whatever I want despite what it causes you?
So, once again, in no man's land, there's no rules, therefore there's
I'm not
no
asking about
consequences.
laws. I'm asking about your morality.
There
Do
is
you
no
think that I should
consequences.
consider... So you think that I should, just for fun, swing a sharp object at you and not consider that you're going to suffer? That's moral in your capacity, in your perspective.
Humans innately are selfish. If your action is going to have...
Disgusting. I gave you so many chances. Humans have inherent rights. I don't care where I am. You have no right over my bodily autonomy. And I will stop you. I don't care if there's no law enforcement. I will stop you if I don't think it's right. If you're coming at my autonomy, I will stop you. I don't care where you are. Do you hear the disgustingness in your like justification? You're saying if there's no law, it's moral. Maybe you don't know what moral means. Morals are basically how you weigh out what's right and wrong. What's, the good thing and the bad thing. You're just so focused on legality. That means that slavery was moral. That means not giving women rights to, participate in equal things in society. That was moral. Raping your wife until the mid-90s. That was moral. Like, legality doesn't equal morality. Maybe you need to go, deprogram yourself. Go research. I'm not going to talk to people that don't believe in human rights. If you don't believe that humans have inherent rights, I don't care to talk to you. Most humans agree that we should not exploit the vulnerable humans. They find that wrong because if they were the ones that were maybe vulnerable, they wouldn't want to be exploited either. I wouldn't want to be exploited. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand. All right, you got to be over 18. All right, Mao Dog, how old are you?
43.
All right, right on. Why aren't you vegan?
Because I don't want to be.
Okay, why not?
Because I don't want to be. Why don't you eat meat?
Oh, because I recognize that animals are sentient beings, and I learned I don't need to use them at all. So sentient meaning they share traits with us.
You don't want to use them at all. You don't want to fit the...
So I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Look. I know you're triggered. I hear the angst in your voice. I want you to listen. Veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. So do you think it's moral for me to exploit you if I had the power to do so? Or should I not? Would it be the more moral thing to not exploit you? Because I recognize that you have your own purpose and you're having your own subjective experience. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
That's called capitalism.
Okay, so you can't think for yourself.
It's called capitalism.
You can't think for yourself. You have to rely on the rich people telling you what to do and what they provide you. You can't recognize that you have two choices in front of you. So an animal product has exploitation and oppression in it. Plants don't do that. You can easily make the choice to be vegan and still participate in capitalism. But you can still make an ethical choice. You don't have to demand someone's oppression. You can just eat plants, fungus, and seaweed. You don't need to wear them for clothing. You don't need to use them for entertainment. You don't need to eat their bodies.
You got a lot of craziness.
It's funny because when you do the ad hominems, that means you've lost and you know it. So animals, just like you and I, are having a subjective experience and they're weighing out those experiences and making preferences. Do they like to feel pain? No. They usually, if they're healthy, they're going to not want to feel pain. They avoid harm. They have a personal interest in continuing to live. Any sentient being who wants to be harmed honestly just needs care, or there's something, they're sick, or there's something that needs to be looked into on them, not a normal, there's something off. Most sentient beings want to live, unless they're suffering. So why are we raising individuals just to remove their life? Like, just stop breeding animals. Stop. In 20 years, we won't have any more. Actually, it'd be even shorter than that if we just stop breeding. No more domesticated animals. I know that sounds crazy, but domestication literally means you're handicapping them. You're literally breeding them to be dependent on you, and they have less and less chance of surviving on their own now. We took wild animals that were fine in their systems, surviving the best way they knew how. We took them out of that, made them mate with individuals they wouldn't mate with so that they more fit our preferences and became dependent on us. And now, we have a mess of all these animals, and we keep breeding more. It's like, stop breeding animals into existence. They're sentient beings that deserve, to at minimum not be exploited, like you and I. I don't think any human deserves to be exploited, which means to be used without consent or without your best interest in consideration for someone else's benefit. To be used unfairly for someone else. Oops. Is it Yu?
Yeah.
Hey, Yu. Are you over 18?
Yes, I'm 22.
Cool. Why aren't you vegan?
I'm not vegan because I wasn't raised in a vegan household, and I believe that naturally human beings were meant to eat meat.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we did in the past, or I forgot your first reason. What was the first reason?
Well, just I wasn't raised vegan, so
raised
I wasn't
vegan.
exposed
I wasn't
to it.
raised vegan either. In fact, my family still doesn't accept the fact that I'm vegan, because it's deep. There's deep cultural ties in it, but there's no justification to violate someone's bodily autonomy without their consent. And so I think you can still have your culture. You can still have. Oh God, I forgot your second point. We've been doing it forever.
It's like natural for human beings to eat meat.
Right.
We have incisors.
Eating plants is
and canines
natural.
for a reason.
What's not natural about eating plants?
We're omnivores. We eat both. That's why we have teeth to eat meat. We have a gallbladder to,
Okay. So
do all those things.
We are omnivores, but we're called opportunistic omnivores. It's because of usually we lived in different seasons, right? So winter season, there weren't a lot of plants around, and we a lot of the time didn't know how to cultivate for a long period of our existence. And then there was summertime when we were abundant with plants, so we would eat more plants in the more warmer seasons. So as humans, we can thrive on both. So far, I haven't seen the evidence about thriving on just animals, but we can survive on it for sure. As far as we have today, the science says we thrive and can live longer. We can reverse disease, and we can even save the planet go green if everyone went vegan, and the animals wouldn't suffer. So it doesn't really matter that we've been doing it forever, and it's okay that you weren't raised vegan. We can still look at things we've done and do better, right? You can learn, hey, I don't want to cause someone harm or use someone without their consent. If I don't have to do that, I'm going to look for the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with the whole, the problem with how we are producing meat. It's disgusting. I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
I think though that, again, like we are supposed to eat meat as human beings, and if you're doing it in an ethical way, like halal meat and stuff like that, I think that it should be perfectly
why do we
fine.
care? Why do we care about the animals' welfare?
Why do we care? Well, you don't want them to suffer before they are,
So
processed.
they're having subjective experience. That means they can feel pain. They can feel joy. That's what subjective experience means. They're experiencing subjective feelings. They have emotions. Right. They have a complex inner life. Okay?
Yes.
So then what is it, if we care about that and we don't want them to suffer, if we know we don't need to use them, isn't taking their life, removing their head, just abuse now because we're unaliving them for taste pleasure?
No, no, no. So the thing
why
is, a
can't
lot
I
of
do
people
that to
raise their
humans?
own cattle, and they're very
No,
sweet to
you're not
them. They have
listening. You're not
great
listening.
lives.
Can I do this to a baby?
I don't equate human beings to animals that we consume.
I just told you our similarities, though. Like,
Yeah, but they're
why
not they're
can't you
not
see the
conscious
symmetry?
in the same way that human beings are. They don't have
Okay, what
the
if I
same
did this with
ability.
dogs? I go to the Humane Society or I raise my own dogs, really happy dogs, and I remove their
Mhm.
head because I want a dog sandwich. Is that moral in your view?
Well, in some parts of the world, people do eat dog, and I'm
Right.
not going to
Would
judge
you
them
eat a
for
dog?
the
Would
fact
you
that
eat
they
a
eat
dog?
dog.
Would
Would
you
I
eat a dog?
personally eat a dog?
Yes.
Um, I mean, if I had to, I would.
That's not what we're talking about. Your friends invite you over for a barbecue. They put a dog on the barbecue. Are you going to eat the dog?
Well, I'm not part of a culture that consumes dogs, so it's considered taboo
A
in my culture.
cult. It's a cult?
Culture.
Oh, I thought you said cult.
No, my culture
Okay,
doesn't
so why
consume
is
dog
it? Why
meat,
does it
so it's
matter about
considered taboo
culture?
in my
But
culture.
why is it taboo?
Well, it's just, I don't know, ask our culture, ask our
I'm
society.
asking you. You apparently are using your culture. You can't think for yourself.
Well, no, it's just how it is here.
So your culture tells you what's right and wrong. That's it.
That's
It's
kind of
cultural,
how
therefore.
society
So my
works.
culture, I'm American. There was once a culture of slavery. Should I bring that culture back because it's my culture? It's culture, right? It's now moral.
Not necessarily.
Exactly. Culture does not equal morality. I understand it shapes it, but it doesn't mean that the actions are moral. It just means that's where the current society is.
So even if I stopped eating meat today, I would not stop harming animals. You do understand that, right? Like,
So
if you
veganism,
are vegan, you still harm animals.
I know you're upset. Look, listen. Veganism is against a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings, okay? So if I have an option to avoid harm, I'm going to take that option. Animal products are a direct product of harm. They're removing the muscle from someone who wanted to live. They're force breeding individuals. That means taking one individual, making them mate with one they wouldn't normally mate with, or making the environment on purpose so that you can use whatever comes out after them. Sentient beings, they have subjective feelings, remember? They have preferences. They avoid harm. Just because they may not be fully aware of all the exploitation doesn't make it okay to do it to them. Even in ethical, I don't care if you hug the cow to death, okay? Removing someone's life who wanted to live is immoral if you don't need to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and what do you think those big machines, when they go get all of your fruits and veggies, do to all the animals that
Do
were
you
named?
know what exploitation means? It
Yes, I
means to
do.
use unfairly for your benefit. The
Yeah,
animals
but
that come
animals
into
are killed in the
crops,
process.
listen, I've done this argument many times. I know about crop deaths, okay? Animals are smart. They run away from the fields. They've done studies on these, and it's not as a problem as you think. Second of all, the animals, any issue you actually have with crops is compounded by using animals because they eat most of the plants that we grow. Like 80-90% of the soy that we grow in those big monocrops fed to animals. Corn, big chunk of it, I think 70% of corn that we grow, big monocrops, to animals. So all the pesticides, all the fertilizers, all the crop deaths, compounded because we have to feed animals. If we got rid of it, one more thing, if we got rid of animal ag, I just don't think you understand the scale. If we got rid of animal ag, we would reduce our ag land use by 75%. And we could feed 10 billion people. We could feed more people, but we're feeding animals selfishly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so I want to add one last star. I'm sorry, I know I said the other one was last, but when you talk about ethical farms, that talks about more space, more resources. The animals take longer to get to the slaughter weight. So what you're proposing is literally to take this option, because you see animals as food, away from poor people, which is kind of stuck up in my opinion. Right? Like you want to make it so that it's a really fancy thing that only a select few people can have. You're also kind of making my argument that people should just be vegan because most people wouldn't have access to it. So like I said, so I know I said 75%, which is what it would reduce by, but they take up 83% of our ag land right now. And that's with factory farming, which reduces the footprint of resource and land use. So if we expanded, it would just destroy our planet. And we would feed less people. It only provides us 18% of our global calories. I'm losing my voice.
So what's your opinion on fungi knowing how to go through mazes and the whole plants crying studies that have been done?
Yeah, I would go look up Debunking a Myth, Plant Consciousness. They go over the last 50 years of studies that look into plant sentience and found that the ones that claim that plants are sentient have not been repeated. Like, they've been not successfully repeated. So the ones that have been successfully repeated are when they prove that all these mechanisms they're talking about are just that, mechanisms. They're just responding to stimuli. So they don't have a brain or a central nervous system. They don't even have ganglia. The animals we use actually share a nerve receptor that we have. Do you know what nociceptors are? Nociceptors are the nerves in our flesh that tell us when we're experiencing excruciating pain. The animals we use, like cows, pigs, chickens, fish, they all have the same nociceptors. They all can experience the same pain. So when you see them in slaughter footage, if it were a human, it would feel the same.
So you believe that bugs also have sentience, correct?
Okay, but remember, if you go back to crop deaths, it's compounded by using animals.
I'm not going back to that, but that is a huge point as well. But
so bugs are definitely a gray area, as their sentience hasn't all been totally proven, but I personally err on the side of caution. If I can prevent harming a bug, I will. I'm not going to go crazy out of my way to save bugs, you know, but like a spider or a fly, if I can catch them with a cup, I'll take them outside.
So just ones that you don't like. But you protect bees, though, right? Because you don't enjoy honey.
Did you not hear what I just said? I just said I save the spiders, the flies, whatever's in my house that I can save. I'll save ants. I'll save all bugs if I can. If they come into my house, I don't immediately unalive them because I know that they're a sentient being, or I assume they are because, again, the science isn't totally clear on all of them.
So you put them outside where they're going to be eaten?
That's where that's their natural environment. They know how to survive outside.
Them, you'd let them in your house to live in your house with you.
I mean, what are you trying to prove right now? How does this
I'm trying to prove that you don't
need
care
to be
about
vegan?
All life.
Why does it matter what I value? I'm telling you that veganism is against the exploitation of sentient beings, and you think if I'm a hypocrite, that means you can make immoral choices to oppress someone?
Well, if you had a pet spider, what would you feed it?
I don't have a pet spider because enslaving someone for my entertainment. Dude, Yo-Yo, get the fuck out of here. I just don't care to talk to you. You're fucking stupid. I fucking hate you. I don't even care if this live gets down. You just pissed me the fuck off. Oh my God.
Such a circle jerk.
Exactly. I was like, what the hell are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you just literally just sitting here like a rock? Just like, just like, what the hell? Oh my God. Like, if I was advocating for human rights, would you be doing this? Oh, you can't save every human. If I was advocating against racism, would you make, you can't stop all racism?
Yeah.
Like, why try to do anything, you? Why try to do anything?
Right.
You're disgusting. You're sitting there saying, because someone else can't be perfect, I get to cause as much harm as I can. Like, that just really disgusts me. I'm sorry. I absolutely just lost on you, but if you're buying spiders, like, I can't even imagine. I mean, I guess you can rescue them from like a rescue of some sort, but yeah, if you had to rescue an animal, then yes, I would say you need to take care of that animal. If you are buying spiders, you don't need to do that. You're perpetuating them being bred, so that then you do have to feed them something. And that's not fair. They have to live in a box for you? That's gross.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of interesting. I was listening to a panel yesterday about the people who do the jumping spiders, that are on here that have or they have
I haven't seen them.
yeah, they have a few people who have like jumping spiders and mantises, and like people were asking them, don't the bugs you feed them feel pain? Well, she came up with a good thing. They do not feel pain like we do. They do not feel the pain, so like they'll lay there and let a bug eat them. They don't feel the pain like we do. It's kind of a interesting thing.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of studies about bugs just because they're not my main concern, because we're not really breeding bugs, and perpetuating using them. I do think that it's terrible that we cause them harm. I don't think we fully understand bugs, because to me, evolution, we developed the ability to move, either to look for food or to escape a predator or harm of some sort.
Right.
And so because they have locomotion, it could be that they were just, a mechanism it's just weird that they develop motion. That's the only, to be able to fly around. I feel like I watch mosquitoes or even little fruit flies. They seem like they make decisions, right? They're never always doing the same patterns. And so I just feel I give them the,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're feeling pain. They could be screaming while they're being eaten.
Maybe, I don't know, but it was kind of interesting. The lady kind of went into it in depth, and I was thinking, that kind of sort of makes sense.
If she knows the science, then I would listen to her and maybe look up those studies. I just haven't seen as many studies, so
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Oh damn! I think my cussing dropped down my viewership. Oh wow, it's dropped down to like 13. That's really funny.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, guys. I just got tired of. I don't know. I shouldn't have cursed at her. I'm sorry, you. I should have been a little nicer, I guess. I might restart my live just because I just couldn't handle it. She's just like appealing to hypocrisy, and I was like, "What is the point?
Right?
Why are you still up here?" Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna restart, but please come back. I want you up here if you want to.
Okay. Yeah.
I see you too, Sierra. All right, and Nika, I see you guys in here. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a bit. Hey, all right, I'm gonna keep it cool from now on. I just let her get to me too much. I think it's just because, I don't know. I love my companion animals, and whenever I've had to say goodbye, it's heartbreaking. And if anybody was to make fun of that, to my face, I don't care if you do it here because you're a nothing person if you do that. But if someone did that to my face, I'd probably punch them, right? Or attack them or yell at them, retaliate in some form, because that's rude and horrible. And yet, people are paying for that to happen every day, every second. Paying for the cows, pigs, and chickens to be unalived. They're healthy. There's nothing wrong with them. They don't need to be unalived. They're just, their only fault being force bred into existence. What could justify that? Nothing. Nothing justifies that. What is this? Oh. There we go. That's what I wanted. Alright, you gotta be over 18. And I will just kick you if things get too heated. I just don't care to talk to you. Are you over 18?
Oh yeah, I'm 33.
Right on. Why aren't you vegan?
I just, I guess, I mean, I like meat. I don't know. I don't really have need to like convince other people to eat like me, but I just like meat, I guess.
Okay. So what would stop you from living vegan?
I
Do you know what
just,
veganism means?
yeah, I mean, I guess like in general, like you just don't like the exploitation of animals, right?
Yes, exactly. All sentient beings, but animals, yep.
So you value life in all forms?
I value it to that I shouldn't exploit them. Respect their autonomy like I would want my autonomy respected if I was in their position.
Okay, so is that all animals or like just edible animals?
That's all animals.
So like you
If there's sentient animals.
okay, so
Even the non-sentient animals, I err on the side of caution, but veganism is about the sentient animals.
okay, so you don't like swat at flies or like kill roaches?
I try not to.
Okay.
If I can avoid it.
I guess my whole thing is like I don't hold value to a life just because it's sentient. I think that the value in
Do you
a
know
life,
what sentience means?
yeah, just the ability to have senses.
So it's the ability to have subjective feelings like pain and joy. They can have sorry, Larry, you had a little tapping noise. Anyway, they have preferences. They're having subjective experiences and weighing those out, and they prefer to be comfortable, right? They don't prefer to be uncomfortable. They avoid harm. So they have an interest in continuing having more experiences so that they can weigh those out and decide if they like them or not. That's something that we all share as sentient beings.
Yeah, I see how you can value that. I just don't.
All right, let me ask you this way.
Okay.
Let's say we have a human that won't contribute to society. They can't even reciprocate morality. Like they maybe can't communicate or understand anything, but they're still experiencing the world. They can still like play with balls. They can, enjoy the nature around them or enjoy their environments. Is it moral for me to exploit that human?
Can you clarify just so I can answer fully? Can you clarify what you mean by exploit in that situation?
To use them unfairly for my benefit.
Okay, so I think where our disagreement is the word unfairly. I don't see it as unfair.
So there is a way to exploit a human in that condition.
Right.
Morally. There's a moral way to use someone unfairly. So you don't believe in human rights? You don't think that humans with the capacity to suffer should be given the right to not be exploited or used without their consent?
So I'm trying to answer you like fully. Do you think...
I know, and I'm being clear. I'm talking about humans.
Right. I'm just trying to get definitions down. So
again, is it moral in your perspective for me to exploit a human that can't reciprocate morality, can't understand anything, but still enjoys life, still sentient? You think there is a moral way for me to exploit them?
So as far as morals, do you think it's subjective or objective?
It's subjective. That's why I asked your moral perspective.
Yeah, for humans, it's different. I don't eat humans.
Why is it different? Thank you for finally answering that it's immoral, right?
Well, because
it's immoral I want you to say it though. It's immoral for me to exploit that person. Go ahead.
I don't think it's immoral. I think it's...
You don't think it's immoral? You don't think it's immoral? Again, talking about your perspective.
This is such a vegan way to talk to me. Can I finish a sentence?
I don't know. Can you?
I'm trying to. You've interrupted me 7 times in a row.
I'll give you one more time. I'll give you one more time. I don't care about victims. Okay.
About victims? You care about victims?
You're making yourself a victim. I swear to God, I'll kick you right now.
Your whole argument is about victims.
Yeah. If you just answer, I'll leave you up here. Go ahead, Lori.
Oh, I was going to say my mic's not working. I was trying to tap on it to turn it so I would go mute while you're talking.
I gotcha. It sounds like it's working now. Or did you do a workaround?
No, it's still not letting me mute.
Oh.
That's okay. I'll just be quiet. Make sure I don't.
Oh, I mean, if you do, you want? I don't want to mute you though. If you want to say something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I just like that you can say something. I'll tell you if any background noise is too loud, I'll just mute you. Yeah.
Yeah, just let me know.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Oh, I do want to say, I want to finish my point with that guy that, so the point is, it is immoral. I'm sure most people agree. It is immoral to use someone without their consent, no matter their intelligence and their ability to give back to society. It's about their capacity to suffer. It's about having subjective experiences and making personal preferences. That alone is why we shouldn't press our purpose onto someone else. Take advantage of someone vulnerable to us. The strong are supposed to protect the weak, not exploit them. Okay, no problem. But anyway, that's the point I was going to draw there, and that we also have similarities, like I already went over. We also have the same nociceptors. You don't need to enslave them. Why are we doing it? If I don't need to kick a dog for exercise because I can kick something else, why is you removing someone's head more moral than you eating? Like, I just don't understand. It's the same thing. If I can kick something else, you can eat something else. Emery. Hey, are you over 18?
We love it!
I think your mom's calling. Oh, Lori, sorry.
Hello?
Hi. Hey, are you over 18?
I am, yes.
What year were you born?
Pardon?
What year were you born?
2005.
Okay. You just sound young. Okay. So, why are you vegan?
So, I am not vegan because personally I believe that being a vegan is not very healthy for the human body. I was a vegan for just under a year and I haven't felt as unhealthy
that's not
in my
true.
life.
I understand you may have had some experience that, that you became unhealthy. That's legit. But veganism is not unhealthy. You can actually go to any of these resources I have listed above. You can talk to an actual dietitian. They have 2,000 to 8,000 hours focused on how nutrition affects your health. And they absolutely support you going through a plant-based diet. In fact, they'll talk to you for almost a whole month. They'll help you meal plan for free, all free. Nutritionfacts.org, you can look at the studies yourself. And, they make videos about the studies, breaking them down and showing you why something is considered healthy. What is a healthy diet? What does that even mean? Longevity or just getting to reproduction? And then there's ChatGPT. Obviously, it's not a resource itself as it makes mistakes, but it can make meal plans for you if you don't want to go to Challenge 22. And you can pop those into Cronometer to double check them because that gives you the macro and micronutrients of whatever you're eating.
Yeah.
So you can live and thrive vegan. So if it's not health, then what else is it that might stop you from being vegan?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that obviously you can be healthy on a vegan diet because I have friends that are vegan and they're thriving, they're doing well, that they're not feeling like drained and ill like I was. So I must have been doing something wrong. But also,
I mean, so no one really knows how to eat because we're not really taught. We're more taught with like culture, habit, and convenience and taste pleasure. So really, that's why I point people to Challenge 22 or nutritionfacts.org. They have the Dailey Dozen. It's a really easy checklist. So you know what to get in a day.
Yeah.
Really
no, the thing is, I meat because it's the most sustainable thing, and I hope you know that being a vegan, you kill a lot more animals in the process than.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. So we got two things there. Wait, hold on. I need a pen. We've got sustainability. People like to shotgun at me. Sustain. And then what was the other one? What was your second point?
How being a vegan kills a lot of animals, a lot of insects.
Crop deaths.
Yeah.
Kills bugs. Yeah, okay. So any issue with crops is going to be compounded by using animals. We raise 92.2 billion animals every year globally, and we have to feed them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of plants. They literally take up 83% of our agricultural land use. We have starving children right now. If we eliminated animal ag, We have studies that show that we could feed 10 billion people and use less land. We would only use 25% of our current agricultural land. So that means all that land could rewild. We could feed everybody. The planet would start sequestering carbon naturally because these ecosystems would return. So it's about sustainability. It is not sustainable, and using animals causes more bug deaths.
How's that?
Because animals eat plants. We raise all these monocrops for the animals. And
Okay.
I'll give you this. I'll give you this though. Because I recognize that bugs might be sentient. We don't really have a lot of evidence that they are, but I err on the side of caution. I would prefer they don't get hit with pesticides and whatever else we put out to harm them. I'd rather we improve the environment so that wherever we grow our food, we can eliminate crop deaths. We can grow indoors. Like we can greatly reduce our footprint already. That means we can build barriers and stop animals from even entering it, because they're coming in on their own free volition. But yeah, I would prefer if they just didn't come in, right? That's the whole point of putting out those deterrents. So
yeah, I saw this thing is however many insects it takes to make 1 bottle of almond milk versus how 1 cow can feed this many people. You can make leather from it. Like,
what does the cow eat? Again, see, they're leaving out what the cow eats.
It's just grass. Like the grass.
They don't. Cows don't eat mostly grass. The ones that do are usually, so a lot of them are fed pellets still, so it's still harvested, and it's not year round if they are on a pasture. There's like, I think it's like 0.1% is able to even survive year round. Like, it's very minimal. The whole reason we have factory farming is because the animals get to slaughter weight faster on grains. So they take less resources, they take less land, they take less time. That's why factory farming exists. So if we, just grass fed them, the animals actually take longer to get there. They require more water. They require all that pasture land. I already told you, we're currently using 83%. And that's with factory farming, which reduces the footprint. Right? So it's like, what do you want to use 100% to just eat animals?
You make a good point. Honestly, you've got your numbers on point. I really am.
Well, so the thing is, this isn't even about veganism. That's just the environment argument. Like, the whole point, let's say I steel man you and we say that flesh from animals is more sustainable. I would still argue for veganism, because that individual, no matter 1, 2, 10, whatever, they care what happens to them, just like you care what happens to you, even if you're in a group of people, right? Even though you are now part of a swarm of humans, you're still an individual and you care what happens to you.
Yeah, no, listen, I get ya. Personally, I get my beef from a farm where treats the animals really well, because in some of these farms... No, it does, because they've lived a long life. Okay, just think, out in the wild, you would have lived a long life, and then some predator comes and eats you.
Do you want to keep living?
Pardon?
Do you want to keep living?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you find it immoral then if I came up behind you, don't know I'm there, you've been living a free life this whole time, and I just pew you because humans are long pig and you taste like bacon?
You see, the thing is, that's just how it goes. And if you manage
I understand what reality is. I'm asking you, what do you morally feel about that? Wouldn't you have rather continue to live?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do understand what you mean with the whole morality.
I'll put it this way. I could have enslaved you. I could have enslaved you and kept you in a small box and then unalived you. I could do as I just said, unalive you in a really humane way. Or I could just not unalive you. Which would you prefer?
Obviously not to kill me.
The animals have the same interest. It doesn't matter if it's high welfare or not. You're taking someone's existence. They don't get to have any more experiences after that. And they have interest in continuing to do that. If they knew what was coming, they run. If you watch slaughter footage, many of them try to escape when they realize what's happening.
Yeah. No, listen, I do get what you mean, but personally, in my opinion, I think as long as the animals had a good life, which is why I don't agree with the dairy farms.
We just debunked this, though. You yourself even said you would prefer to live.
I know, but personally...
So you don't need... the animals are there because you demand them be there? Do you know what supply and demand is?
Yeah, I know. Listen,
so because you continue, I need you to listen. Because you demand them, they're there. It's not because of convenience. They know that you're going to buy it. If you take your demand away from it, they won't produce it. They won't breed these animals into existence. It's because of your choices. It's your fault they're there. How do you morally justify that?
How do I morally justify it? I think...
Would you support a dog factory? Like someone doing this to dogs, hanging them upside down. Maybe they put them in gas chambers to stun them. Maybe they give them a bolt to stun them, but they still get the same knife across the throat. They get hung by their leg, and they're sitting there flashing around, all their life essence spilling out. You hear yipping. Is that moral in your opinion?
All right, if you spend all day...
I'm asking your moral opinion. What's your moral thoughts on that?
You know what? We don't eat dogs because they're really small. The fact that you
can't answer is very telling.
Listen, let me finish. If cows
Can you answer the question, please?
And dogs were our best chance to eat meat, then
not.
I thought you were vegan.
No, I'm saying because we eat cows, because they're very, very big. They feed a lot of people. But if cows didn't exist, then dogs are our next best.
You know they eat dogs in Norway, right? You know they eat dogs in Norway, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you think it's moral if I had a factory farm of dogs?
Well, killing a cow, killing a dog, a life's a life, really.
All right, I'll make it more simple. I have a dog right here tied up. I kicked them for exercise. It's convenient. It's entertaining. It's good for me. If I didn't have the dog there, I wouldn't exercise. So it's my benefit. Is that moral in your opinion?
Causing them pain like that, nah, I don't think that's
why.
Moral.
Because they're experiencing pain. They're having that subjective experience, and it's wrong for me to cause them pain unnecessarily, right?
If it's a quick death, though, if you're not on about just torturing, if it's a quick death, just bam, then So
you're telling me you would rather have your head removed. Hold on, Lori. I'm going to say one last thing. You would rather have your head removed than be kicked in the shin.
Well, it's would I rather get kicked in the shin?
Would you rather have your head removed? Or would you rather be kicked in the shin? I want you to just answer my questions.
Well, can we add a bit more context to it? Because it completely depends.
That's it. Do you prefer your head removed? I'm asking you, do you prefer your head removed or kicked in the shin?
Can I ask one question before I answer that? Will I be getting kicked in the shin for the rest of my life?
Get out of here. I'm not going to talk to dishonest people. Really? There is a scenario where you would rather have your head removed rather than be kicked in the shin. I'd rather take the kick in the shin. I don't care if you blow my leg off, right? I get to live another day. I get to continue experiencing life. You don't get that after the head.
Yeah, I don't think he was vegan. I think he was being, distrustful. He wasn't. I don't think he was vegan, because if he was, then he would already understand, everything. And
I mean, he understood that kicking dogs is wrong because he understands that I can kick something else, and causing that dog unnecessary harm like that is wrong. And I totally agree. But he misses the connection between removing a head and me kicking. It's like this dog, if I release them right now, yes, they'd have trauma, but someone could still take care of this dog and give them the compassion and care that they need, right? Like they still could, there's a chance of them bringing back purpose to their own life versus me removing their head. That's it. Like how many animals have we seen? Yeah. How many animals have we seen that have been abused that now have happy homes and happy lives, right? Like, should we have just offed them then? Because apparently abuse is worse than removing their head. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's why I get so upset. I'm like, you're like contradicting yourself, but you're like not acknowledging it at all. And then I get frustrated. I'm not a teacher, so I start to lose it. I'm like, come on, be an adult. Connect those neurons.
Well, I hear you.
I should be more compassionate, though. I can be pretty stubborn when learning something new. I count any sentient being. And Lori, I'm so sorry that I actually didn't let you speak. I totally kicked him.
Yeah, that's
Did you actually want to say what you were going to say? I don't know if you wanted to maybe throw it out there.
No, I was just going to ask him if he was vegan before, what was the problem and why is he all into meat now if he was really vegan before.
He even said, I'm pretty sure he said he had vegan friends that are totally healthy and that he probably did it wrong. Why don't you just ask your vegan friends to help you?
Right. Or do the challenge 22 if you're really
which I did point. I said take a screenshot of it, and I don't know if you did.
Yeah. Oh, I heard you.
Yeah. All right, I'll bring someone up. Erebus? I might have just botched that name. I'm sorry. Hey, how do I pronounce your name?
Erebus.
Erebus. Okay. Are you over 18?
I'm 48, so yeah.
Right on. Cool. Why aren't you vegan?
I only have a few minutes. So first, primarily is because there are no valid arguments for veganism. But if you believe that there are, let me go ahead and hear them.
Oh, because animals are sentient beings, and Oh, go ahead, Lori.
No. I'm just laughing about that. I have to say I'm laughing about that because that's just not true.
Yeah.
If you believe it's not true, I'll listen. Go ahead.
Okay. So animals are sentient beings, meaning that they're having a subjective experience and they have subjective feelings like pain or joy. They have complex inner lives. They have friends, family, preferences. We share that with them. We want our sentience respected. By not being exploited, right? We don't want to be oppressed. And I think that if we want our sentience respected like that, we have a moral obligation to do that for all beings that have that similar capacity.
Okay, so you're a sentientist, not a vegan. Got it.
No, I'm a vegan. I'm absolutely vegan. I even give credence to bugs.
I'm sorry.
It's about the capacity to suffer.
Yes, you're worried about sentience. So I could be a sentientist and not a vegan. You'd agree with that, right?
No, I don't want to demand someone's exploitation.
I didn't ask that question.
Okay. I'm never going to use animal products. I don't know how you're going to
Didn't ask that question either.
Okay, so veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings.
Yeah, it's not really, though. Okay. Here's the thing, and you can test this. We can test this. It's very simple. Okay.
Take it down a notch, okay? We're talking about someone's rights, and you sounding all uppity about violating someone is really upsetting me, okay?
Hold on. You could be upset. That's fine.
I don't like people that are giddy about exploitation.
I didn't say I was giddy. It's a matter of how you're using arguments that really don't really reduce down to what you think they do.
Do you use animals?
Really simple question. I love how you want to know.
Do you use animals?
Critique your position.
I'll give you one more time. Do you use animals?
Do I use animals? Does that change anything?
Yes.
It changes your position if
Do you use animals?
Hold on.
It's my life, dude. Like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
I'll just kick you. You don't want to have a conversation. You just want to take your fucking energy and swing it around. Hey, son of man. Are you over 18?
Oh yeah, I'm 29.
Okay. You're not driving though, right?
With Bluetooth. Bluetooth.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need you to focus on the road though. Sorry, TikTok rules. Also, I want you to be safe. All right, acid bath supremacy.
Hello.
Hi, are you over 18?
Hold on, I have like things being weird. Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. Whenever you're ready, why aren't you?
Okay. I want to just preface this by saying I completely respect your choice to be vegan. I understand that it comes from a place of concern for animals, and on that level, I completely agree with you. I own 2 dogs. I really value them. I think zoos need more like interactive activity and better habitat. Sorry, I'm like totally forgetting my words here. Better habitats for their animals, and I think there's a lot of problems within the meat industry. However, I'm noticing a logical fallacy in your arguments when you say, you value sentient being. Plants are also sentient beings. But
no, they are not. Plants are not sentient.
Plants aren't sentient.
No.
So look up debunking a myth, plant consciousness, goes up over the last 50 years of studies that look at plant sentience. And they found that all the studies that claim that plants are sentient have not been successfully replicated. And all the ones that have shown that all these mechanisms we talk about that might be sentience are just mechanisms that are responding to stimuli that could be explained with just natural, reaction.
Okay, I see. If you wouldn't mind like citing these sources, that would be helpful, just so I can evaluate them myself.
Oh, I just told you. Look up debunking a myth, plant consciousness.
Do you have like a
That's the one
specific
that goes
website or just the general?
No, that's the study. Look it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's the title.
Another thing is that humans are omnivores, and whether or not you make the choice to be vegan on your own, it is important to understand that humans are biologically engineered.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that. So the thing is, what humans have developed, we're opportunistic, and our ancestors would eat more plants when it was warmer and more animals when plants were less abundant. So we have that capacity. We have evidence showing us, though, right now, like the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which goes over thousands of studies and has the most nutritional professionals in the world. It's one body of the most, I said that so weird, but they all agree that a vegan diet is safe and healthy for all stages of life. So we know that it's healthy for us. We know that we can thrive on it. It doesn't mean that we need animal products. It just means if we needed to, we can use animals. But we don't have to, so we should just eat plants.
Another thing is, when you say you're vegan, does that include like soap products that use animal fats, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, if I know that it's there, I'm going to avoid it. A lot of people may accidentally do that because they're unaware of what's in their products. But, when you care about where your demand is going, you'll get the habit of looking things up. What's in this? Like, what am I even using? And then you find out, what are these? They usually list them as chemicals, right? Where do these come from? And you'll find out there's websites now that are dedicated to you just scanning the product, and they'll tell you if it's vegan or not and why.
Okay, I mainly just wanted those clarifications, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're against all exploitation. Well, so I want to ask you, like, why aren't you vegan?
I'm not vegan simply because I enjoy eating meat, and I don't really feel like it suits my dietary concerns.
Do you think that we should test on animals, like for makeup and
No, I do not
cosmetics?
think we should test on animals. Like I said earlier,
I agree.
the meat industry is very exploitative. Sorry, I'm like totally jambling my words here.
That's okay. I get dry mouth, so I gotta drink water.
Yeah, the meat industry is very inhumane and needs to be improved in many ways.
So why should we care about their welfare?
Again, I do value the lives of animals. I think they're exploited in many ways, including the meat industry. However,
why should we care about that? If we're just going to use them for food anyway, why does it matter that we care about their welfare?
Because they contribute to an ecosystem in which we live in. So
actually, animal ag is wiping out our biodiversity. Because we're making all these areas to grow monocrops to feed the animals, or we're making pasture land.
Okay. What were you gonna lead something up with that?
Well, you were saying that. What was your last point? That's why. Oh, where'd she go?
She dropped.
Oh, okay. Maybe she accidentally dropped.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hey. Are you over 18? Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
I'm a cow farmer, and there's I'm balding a little bit, so there's a molecule in cow urine called uric that it's called proteinuria that I typically take from the cow pee, and it makes my balding better. Makes my hair grow more.
Mike!
Get out of here, Mike! This is getting a little weird. What a
Right when he went to urine, I was like, wait, I've heard this before.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me guess. Do you give the cow a tickle?
God, yeah. And if that really helped balding, you think men would be pouring it on their heads.
I mean, right? They kind of do when they're milking the cow, and then there's urine coming down, just bathing at the same time. All right, you got me. Oh my God, no! Sierra said people are taking him seriously. Please don't laugh at him. That's hilarious. Oh my God. That's too good. Thank you, Mike. I actually needed that. That really perked me up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lori.
Oh, no, I was just saying that was good.
Yeah. Oh, I needed that. That made me laugh. That's good. I was too angry before.
Yeah, I could see her getting a little upset.
I was. I gotta take it down a notch. I gotta be my inner Lori.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Kendall, how old are you? Kendall? Don't know if he's
Kendall?
there.
Kendall, are you there? It says they're there. I don't know. Maybe drop down and come back. Maybe their mic isn't working. I'll bring up Jason. You can start, Lori, if you want.
Oh, hi, Jason. How old are you?
Oh, he's still loading.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Maybe
you
it was
do
a
it.
while ago that he... Are you able to access the guests?
Yes.
Thought I gave... Okay, good.
Yeah, they keep popping up. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe they'll come back.
Yeah.
I forgot what that last guy was talking about. Do you remember what we were talking about? I feel like I should address some points that he said.
No, I don't know which one you're talking about.
I don't know either. Oh, there was something else that that girl brought up, which was zoos, and I was like, I wanted to address that. Zoos are not good. I don't mind rehabilitation centers for animals, absolutely, but I don't think we should have children pressing their faces up on glass to gorillas and lions, and it's really sad when you see them responding to the kids like, I'm gonna eat that child, and it's like that lion is needs to be somewhere else.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But and then also we already talked about killing bugs and sustainable. That was the other guy. Oops. Yeah, also I don't really care for debate bros. I'm not here to debate. I don't care if you think that I've heard someone say, I can debate you that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. I was like, I mean, you're literally telling me that you can debate into absurdity, and I don't really want to talk to you because you're literally just going to bite the bullets on things, you know? Like, you're not going to be an honest actor. You're going to just try to beat me by sounding psychotic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of curious what he was going to go to about sentience and, like that I'm a sentience-ist.
Yeah.
And then using animals, like, is he going to say that he's eating, like, scallops or, you know, like, the animals that are in the gray zone, and saying that because he's using animals, he's not vegan, but he cares about just the sentience.
Yeah.
I would still say that it's actually kind of a tough one. I don't know. I don't know why you would still want to see animals as a resource. That's where I think it's weird. It's like, why do you need the excuse of sentience? Like, the fact that you do not need to use them and that they might be sentient, why not just avoid it? Like, if you have to use that is like the grayest area you could be in. But if it's not necessary, I just don't understand why people want to exploit these loopholes. It's like you're still seeing them as a resource. You're still viewing them as someone that you can oppress because they're vulnerable to you, even though they're having their own subjective experience and would prefer to keep having those and avoiding harm.
Right. And being with their children and everything else, just like us.
Yeah, their communities that they build up.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we have some requests. All right, you got to be over 18.
What's up?
Hey, are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
Uh, that's a good one. Well, I'm vegetarian, but like vegan food's just a load of crap. It's too expensive.
Okay. Why are you
Like
vegetarian?
if you
Why are you vegetarian?
I was just brought up that way.
Oh,
by me
so
mom,
you don't
but,
have like a principled reason? Is it just like healthier?
Nah,
or?
not really. I just never bothered to change. I've never eaten it, and then the smell kind of puts me off now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know what happens to cows for them to produce milk, or what chickens go through to produce eggs?
Yeah, that's what people say, but I've never seen it myself, so I don't really know. But people say they do this and they do that.
You should watch Dominion. That's a great documentary. Shows you the standard practice for everything. It also shows you humanely raised, pasture raised, grass fed, whatever, small local slaughterhouse. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. So if you don't know what's happening, you should go watch Dominion. It's a free documentary on YouTube. And, you know, you should know if you're going to continue using animals, you should know exactly what it is that you're demanding.
Not all of it's quite like that. If it's like ethically sourced, that it's not too bad.
Yeah, they go over that.
Most meat is not ethically sourced, it's just mass produced, which I think is a load of crap.
Right, well, what do farmers raise animals for?
But to eat them.
To sell them.
Yeah.
To make money. There's not as many farms that just live off the land for themselves, and even then it's a privileged thing if you're choosing to do that. You don't need to use animals who can thrive off of plants. They're a sentient being having a subjective experience, just like you. Why is it wrong for me to exploit you?
I just don't think you're gonna get as much nutrients.
Well, no, answer my question. Just answer my question. Why can't I exploit you?
I don't know.
I think it's immoral, but...
I don't know.
Do you think it's immoral?
Yeah, to a degree, but like...
Right. Using you without your consent for my benefit is immoral, right? Okay. Could I offer an answer that is it because you're having your own subjective experience, you have your own purpose, your own preferences, and you would want to continue doing that however you prefer instead of me exploiting you, correct? You want me to respect the fact that you have a subjective experience.
But if people didn't eat cows or whatever, there'd be no cows. Like, nobody's gonna...
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, we don't need cows. So, do you know cows, I don't remember the name of their ancestor, but they were once a wild animal that was roaming wherever they were. We took them out of the wild, and we made them breed with someone that they wouldn't normally breed with, so they made a mutated baby that fit our needs. Domestication literally means that we're breeding someone to be dependent on us. We're handicapping them. So we don't need to breed more cows that are dependent on human care. We should stop breeding them, take care of the ones we have now, and let them die out. In about 20 years, we won't have any more domesticated animals. Just your wild neighbors. What's wrong with that?
Nothing really. It's just like, for the average person to eat as a vegan is far too expensive. If an item is branded as vegan...
It's not. There was a study that came... So Oxford did a study on this, and they found that the richer nations, it's 30% cheaper to be vegan.
I don't see that anywhere in Ireland. Like, literally, like, if you go in and buy...
Look up Irish vegan people. I guarantee that there are vegan influencers. There are vegan people in Ireland.
Well, that's if you're eating vegan food that's not branded as vegan, it's quite cheap. But if you're eating vegan food, it's always like double the price when it says vegan on it.
Of course, if you're talking about the junk foods, yeah, some of them are expensive, but you can like make your own junk foods. Yeah.
But even regular stuff like vegan butter, like it's double the price of regular butter here.
You don't need to use vegan butter. Look up recipes. You can make an easy mixture of your own of any concoctions that are near you that are inexpensive. I guarantee it. You can find alternatives. You can use oil.
Well, even for me as a vegetarian, I don't get enough nutrients, so...
So what the cow goes through, the farmer has to put a glove all the way up to his shoulder, and he puts his arm into the cow's anus to hold her cervix in place, okay? They go in and out. Is that not bestiality? Yeah,
I
when
don't
you
know.
use butter, that's what you paid for. Someone to put their arm in and out, in and out, in and out, in a cow. And then 9 months later, she has a baby.
I never asked him to
We
do
take she's a mammal. How else are you going to get milk from her?
That's standard practice. That's
Why
standard
would he stick his
practice,
hand
eh?
inside to get butter? Butter.
So are you listening? How does she produce milk?
From the others.
Right. Why does she produce milk though?
Because they have babies,
Because
obviously.
she has a baby. Who decides when she gets pregnant? The cow or the farmer?
I don't know. I mean, probably.
I just told you the process, my man. What do you think?
I don't know.
That's how they get her pregnant. Do you know what artificial insemination is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
That's what I just described. They literally put their arm in her anus. They hold her cervix in place. They JO a bull by hand, or they put a little contraption on him and they put a little buzzy buzz in his butt to make him go. That's someone's job, to come in and put a buzzer in a bull's anus so that he ejaculates. They take that and they put it in a little tube and they spurt it right into her vagina. And then they go in and out, because they really want to make sure that she's pregnant. They call it the slick. That shows that she's, that it's in there.
Right, and if you're wondering about age, you can watch Dairy is Scary. It's right up there behind the host. That'll tell you everything about dairy. And like she said...
It's only 10 minutes, or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a long one.
Or it's 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So do you feel good about buying butter now, knowing that you're paying a farmer to grape a cow every year, and then she has her baby stolen, and if it's a boy, it's maybe raised for 2 years and then unalive for veal? If it's a girl, she's put in a hut until she reaches sexual maturity and she can go through what her mother went through. Cows can live to be 20 years old. They unalive dairy cows about 4 to 6 years old because they become downers. Being pregnant year after year wears on your body, takes resources out of your body. And then we've also bred these cows to have udders that are just enormous. They can't even support their weight. They're called downers. This is what you pay for when you demand butter. You can use any vegan alternative. I would just go online and Google what's an easy vegan cheap butter. I guarantee you just don't look for the alternatives. I don't know if you know, but you're muted. That's why I keep talking. I don't care to monologue. I'm trying to do less of it, but...
Oh shit, I'm muted. Oh shit, I didn't know that. I don't know. I just like butter. I've tried vegan butter because my sister's vegan.
Okay, so I just told you the process. Do you feel good about that?
Not really, but I gotta eat because right now...
Yeah, you don't need to eat butter. You don't even need butter. You can get fat from like nuts or other food sources. You can use oil.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There are alternatives. So since you have... What'd you say?
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you said.
That as well. That's pretty good as well. Like, yeah.
Okay, so what's stopping you from being vegan?
Like,
why don't you want to recognize? Go ahead.
I think it's just too difficult. Like, I'd be checking every package just to check if there's butter in it.
Okay.
And the amount of things I wouldn't be able to eat.
I would go to Challenge 22. If you go to Challenge 22, you can talk to a dietitian, and it's for a whole month. They'll help you meal plan, and they help you based off of where you're at. So they'll tell you based off of your budget and your location and your specific needs, what's around you, and they'll help you meal plan for those whole 22 days.
But most dietitians are just fucking going about meat. Like,
so these are plant-based dietitians. They're plant-based dietitians. Okay. So if you go there saying, I want to be vegan, they're going to help you for free. So if you go to any dietitian and you say, I would like to live vegan, can you help me do that? They will help. Any dietitian will help you do that. These people are specialized, though. That's what makes them a little nicer, is that they have more of a focus on plant-based, so they could answer your questions more, confidently. There's also nutritionfacts.org right below that. They have what's called the Dailey Dozen. It's a really simple checklist. Just look up vegan Dailey Dozen. It's just a simple checklist to get your daily nutrition in a day. Really simple. I'm gonna mute you. I'm sorry. The TV is so loud in the background. Can you like turn it down or something? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's just so loud.
No worries. I don't even know how to end this, but yeah, nice one.
Yeah, there's no moral justification to use animal butter. I literally just showed you how you're demanding bestiality. They do it every year. And then on top of that, not only is she mourning the loss of her baby every year, I've seen cows in sanctuaries that have a version of PTSD. They will hide their babies because they know the farmer will come and take their babies. And at the sanctuaries, they don't have to worry about that. Everyone's going to be taken care of. But they show signs that they remember this trauma and that they're trying to stop it from happening, right? That should break your heart. They want to be free. They don't want to be used. They don't want their babies to be unalive. They care. They care. You act like they don't care, but they care. Even it doesn't matter if someone doesn't recognize it. If they knew you were coming at them to use them and they didn't want that, they would avoid it. But we have to trick them, right? Or we have to trick them into basically like traps so that we then can immobilize them and take away their life without their consent. It's heartbreaking. Hey, Andrew. Are you over 18?
Yeah, you're completely making shit up. I have a
Take
farm.
it down a notch. Hold on. I don't want to argue.
You feed
I don't want to
cows
argue.
medicated fucking feed that cause their hormones to make them lactate. It has nothing to do with bestiality, you weirdo.
Buddy.
You make that shit up.
Buddy, you're...
Yeah, I was looking at his comments in the feed. He's an idiot.
Not intelligent, man. Cows are mammals.
Spewing all kinds of shit on the
cows.
feed.
Yeah, go Google it. Why do cows produce milk? I guarantee it will blow your mind. It's because they have babies. Yes, they can have a bowl.
That's why women lactate. Only women will lactate
silly.
when they have a baby.
Yep. Also, who chooses when the cow becomes pregnant? The cow or the farmer?
Right, exactly.
Even if you have a bull mounting her, he decides what kind of bull and when, right? And on top of that, I've had multiple farmers now tell me that AI is more compassionate because bulls are so aggressive that they honestly will even break the cow's back sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. So it's like, well, you shouldn't even be doing that.
And two, the bulls are so big that they can't even mount the females. That's one reason.
Yes.
Too. The bulls are so big because they oversize the bulls too.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. All right. I muted just because we were still talking. Is it Jack?
Hello.
Hey, is it Jack? Is that your name?
No, it's Omar. It's Omar.
Omar. Okay. Sorry about that, Omar. Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why aren't you vegan?
Because meat is good.
Okay. What would stop you from being vegan? Just the taste pleasure?
No, and then the protein as well. Like, you can't get the same amount of... I know you're going to mention nuts and other things like that, but meat
Well,
itself
actually, I would just point you to my resources because, I'm not a nutritionist. I know you can get everything. You can get up to 200 even more grams of protein. I know bodybuilders that show their diets and how they get ripped that are vegan. But you can go to Challenge 22 for free and talk to an actual dietitian that studies how nutrition affects your health. They have like 2,000 to 8,000 hours focused on that. And they're like the pinnacle of nutrition questions, right? Because they're basically doctors in nutrition. And these guys are specifically focused in plant-based, so they can answer your questions, confidently.
I did research into it, and I did talk to my...
okay, but did you do 2,000 to 8,000 hours on it?
I know my family doctor probably researched it quite a bit.
Doctors only get 24 to 48 hours of nutrition education.
Well, I'm not sure, but from what I have done...
So 24, I want you to hear me, 24, 2,000 to 8,000. You think a doctor's going to know more nutrition from a day's worth of education versus someone who took thousands of hours of education?
That's fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you look at like the protein to gram ratio, for example, in a chicken breast, correct?
Look, I need you
Even
to
if you have
stop. I
8,000
don't
hours.
care. Blah, blah, blah.
Sorry,
Nutritionfacts.org. Hush, hush, hush. I'm going to educate you. Nutritionfacts.org. You can go look up the studies yourself. They tell you why is something healthy. I understand you're going to break down whatever protein, blah, blah, blah. You can get cheap protein on a vegan diet, okay? I promise. Go to Challenge 22. They'll tell you what's in your area based on your budget and your specific preferences, like a ton of protein. I promise you can do it. I'm not here to argue about your nutrition, though, because, look, you're wrong. You can thrive on a plant-based diet. There is no moral justification for you to use animals.
I'm not disagreeing. But
okay, so even though animals may have a more convenient package of your nutrition, humans have a convenient package of nutrition, right? We just don't exploit them because we know that they're sentient and they're having an experience.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing. I don't know the way that, like, I disagree with the way that Western people kill animals because that's very, like.
So why care about their welfare at all if they're just to be used for you? Why do we care about their welfare? You're just going to take their life.
What do you mean? Okay,
why do you care about animal welfare? Why do you care about how well they're taken care of?
Well, what's the use for them if they're just like living?
What's the use of you? What's the use of you,
well,
right? You're just existing. You're just existing.
No, I help over 10,000
Do you believe in
people.
human rights? Do you believe in human rights? Do you believe in human rights? Okay,
Yes, I do.
so despite someone's ability to contribute to society, despite someone's ability to be intellectual, do they still have human rights?
They don't have human rights. No, they're not humans.
Wow. Get the fuck out of here, dude. He just said people that are handicapped don't have human rights.
Yeah, right.
That's disgusting.
And like I was waiting for him to bring up his religion, halal, wherever he's from, but they are worse in other countries when they go to kill an animal for food.
Yeah, so the countries that have like wealth, don't you think that they would do it the most humane way? They have all the money to do so. They even do research into what is the most humane, the richest countries, right? So they're going to invest in those technologies. What do the poorer nations got? Do they have access to that research? Do they have access to resources so that they can make their systems more humane? Often that money is focused on other things, right? Human issues. So these animals get beat with sticks sometimes, like big sticks until they're dead.
Oh yeah, and the ones that eat camels, it's really sickening because they will cut their legs off. They will cut their legs off and they're sitting there until they kill them. I think that's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. And that's just, honestly, if America didn't have its money to put in that technology, we'd be doing the same thing. You know? It's because we view the animals as our thing to be used, and therefore it doesn't matter. Like, people, I feel like it's, the only reason to have any welfare is to make other people feel good. I don't even think the welfare laws in any country are really even focused on the individual animals. I think it's just to make humans feel okay with the oppression that we continue to do.
Well, right.
Like puts a happy face on it.
Yeah, that's why slaughterhouses don't have glass walls.
Yeah.
You know?
Most people would not support them if they watched what was happening.
Right, exactly. If they went to a slaughterhouse and smelled it and heard it, they would be thinking differently.
Yeah, they would. Let's go ahead and bring someone up. I'm going to bring up Kendall only because I think you were up there for a bit. Oh, yeah. Sorry. May have taken too long. Oh. No. Dang it. I'm sorry, Kendall. Maybe. Oh, are you there? It says you're loaded in, but I can't hear you. Hello?
I've got good service. Is it?
Oh, I got you. Oh, I heard you for a second. I heard you say you have good service. I got you. Hey. I heard you for a second.
Wait.
So,
Okay.
are you
Can you
over?
hear me now?
Are you over? Yes. Are you over 18? So, are you over? Are you over? Oh, yes. There's a really bad echo.
Yes, I'm over 18.
Okay, there's a really bad echo. Is there like another thing playing? Okay, there's a really bad echo. Is there like another?
How about now? Is there an echo now?
I don't know.
Wait.
Hold on.
One second, I can fix it.
I don't know. Hold on. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Okay, is there an
All right,
echo
let's
now?
see.
Is there an echo now?
I don't hear one.
Aha!
Yeah, I don't hear one now.
I actually tried to join a little bit ago, and a phone call came in right as I was hitting accept, and it messed up my signals, so I couldn't actually talk to you before. So I'm like, oh, and then you had to just cancel it.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you got up here.
Nice to meet you. And I'm sure you're about to ask, why aren't you vegan yet?
Exactly.
Nice to meet you. So basically, before we start this conversation, let me preface a couple things. Do you advocate for the existence or the emotions or feelings of living sentient beings? And you think
yes, I care about
correct?
I do care about all sentient beings. Yes.
Okay, so you advocate for their feelings, like the fact
I
that they have feelings.
Advocate that we, on a bare minimum, don't exploit them.
But do you care that they have those feelings?
Well, so the reason, because they're having those feelings, I think humans should not exploit animals. That's it.
Okay. So would you think that, would it be better to live a tortured existence or have your head cut off?
What about not breeding them into existence at all?
But you're talking
so the
about
animals we use.
We're talking about the world we live in right now.
Of course, if it's in someone's best interest,
exist.
I'm answering your question. If someone was in a tortured state and it would be in their best interest to remove their life because they're suffering so much, I think that that's still compassionate and that is still vegan because you're doing what's best for them, not for you.
Yeah, it's just like euthanasia for a dog or cat.
Well, I could have swore you were arguing the opposite argument a little bit ago. I think your exact words were, well, I mean, if I was going to get kicked in the shin or if I was going to get my head cut off, I'm going to pick getting kicked in the shin over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
So you were arguing the exact opposite point a little bit ago. That doesn't make any sense. Euthanasia is...
Stop. You're talking really fast. So you think that kicking someone in the shin is worse than removing their head?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, that was the point I was making, is that removing someone's head is a permanent thing. Kicking their shin's still wrong, but, it's not as bad as taking their head off. And I'm saying that if it's bad for me to cause unnecessary abuse, it's wrong to remove someone's head, because that's worse. It's escalated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying you should kick someone in the shin, and I'm not saying we should abuse animals. I'm saying we shouldn't be using them. Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the right page.
I just don't understand then how you're advocating for the destruction of an entire species. Like domesticated cows and pigs do exist.
Yeah.
And I get that not all of them are treated well. I've seen the videos. I know it can be terrible, but not all of them are treated terrible. In fact, actually, I know several cows right now that live the happiest lives in the world, and if you were to meet them, they would be so excited to meet you. They'd be like, oh man, it's a person. And yes, eventually the cow will eventually die. And
will they be sent to slaughter? Are they being used? Like, is this a sanctuary that you're describing, or is it a farm?
No, a farm, in fact.
Okay, the problem is, Kendall, I can break it down real simple. You're viewing a sentient being as a resource for you. It doesn't matter how nicely you treat them. You're still using someone. You're acting like a supremacist in that because you're the superior one. Hold on. You're the superior one, therefore you have the right to oppress, which is not right. Because you're the one taking the life of the animal. You're the one with the power removing someone's life who's vulnerable to you.
Well, it's better than torturing them, isn't it?
You don't need to breed them into existence at all. Do you know what supply and demand is?
Yeah,
So
but
because
if
you pick up those packages, they breed another animal into existence to replace what you have purchased. If they stop breeding animals, and just, we could even take the ones that exist, put them on sanctuaries, let them live out their lives. Maybe in about 20 years, because it'll be great drop
well,
off, just
there's
let
not
them
enough
live out.
sanctuaries to handle that many animals.
There's a lot of chickens, but they only live to be about 8. So in about 8 years, there'd be a
Yeah,
huge
chickens don't live
natural
that long.
drop
That's
off,
why I
and then we
really
would
was
just have
focusing more
cows
on
and
cows and
pigs.
pigs.
And then
But
again,
if you
it
were,
doesn't
but
matter.
let's say every
Kendall,
single person,
hush, Kendall. I think you're losing sight of the conversation. Okay, I want to be clear. We're talking about animals that are having a subjective experience, right? They have the capacity to feel pain, and we care about that. We care about their welfare, right? If we care about not causing them unnecessary pain, knowing that we can thrive without using them makes using them abusive. Removing their head when we don't need to, is that not abusive? Breeding someone into existence for us to use, taking an individual who wouldn't normally mate with another individual so they make a mutated baby that fits your needs, is slavery. That's wrong.
Yeah, and if these animals, Kendall, were not bred, into existence, they wouldn't be here. You would be looking at animals from thousands of years ago if they were still living.
Yep. We took them out of the wild where they were doing just fine, and we mutated them. Like I said, we took an individual from the wild and we made them mate with an individual that had some gene or some trait that we valued in our slave, and they made a baby that fit more of our needs. I mean, how is that not already effed up alone? And then we just did that over and over and over until we got chickens that not laid 13 eggs a year, but 300. Like, how can that ever be okay? Unless it's a survival thing. We don't need it anymore, though. We can stop breeding these individuals in. I don't know if you know, Kendall. You are muted. I'll send you an invite to unmute. It's at the bottom. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay, what is your take on dogs then?
You mean like people having pets?
Yeah, I mean, technically, they were done the same way as cows.
Yeah.
They were mutated into these horrible.
I feel the same way with the farm animals.
I would much rather my dog still live, though. Like
I'm not talking about unaliving these animals. Okay, hold on. Do you want me to answer? So you asked about dogs. You asked about dogs, and you said you don't want your dog to be unalive. I want to be clear. I'm not talking about euthanizing all the animals. I would prefer they go on sanctuaries. What actually happens, I don't really have control over. I can tell you what my preferences are, right? My ideas. We would actually have to have society change so that we actually have legislative things like that come into play on how to handle this issue that we have. But the same issue with dogs, cats, all these pet animals, they're bred into existence because of a demand. If you rescue someone who genuinely needs your care and you have the capacity and time to do so, that's admirable. And I see us more as stewards personally. So I think that's your responsibility is, as humans, we've made these animals domesticated, which literally means they're reliant on our care. So I think it's our job to clean that up in the sense that we take care of them, don't breed them anymore, just care for them for the remainder of their life until they naturally pass away, and then no more dogs. You just have your wild neighbors and that's it. Because we don't need to use animals without their consent like that. We have technology, we have so many things that we can use alternatively. It's just abuse to keep using animals.
Okay, then what about cats?
Same story. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Well, but it's not though. Cats,
I don't know, you muted out.
Domesticated themselves. They chose to join humans.
Yeah, so I would just not. No, we breed
domesticated cats. We domesticated dogs. We've done it. The human population
we domesticated dog, but cats domesticated themselves. Look it up. No. That one, back in Egypt.
So you could say the same thing about crows, squirrels. Are you listening, Kendall? You could say then that we've also domesticated squirrels, crows, pigeons. Well, pigeons are domesticated, but all of these animals that live around humans that have learned to thrive off of our garbage. That's not what domestication means. It means to be reliant on our care. Do you understand? So cats were bred
but we didn't
to make different varieties. We have cats. Kendall, you're losing sight of what we're talking about. Do you realize that you're saying because cats chose to hang out around us, you're saying as a supremacist, I now have the right to oppress this cat, take them out of their natural environment, and make them be my friend?
Okay, I think you're misunderstanding the point.
No. You're misunderstanding the point. People should not be breeding cats. We should let Kendall hush. What does this have to do with your habits? What does this have to do with you using animals? You're literally trying to find my hypocrisy, but you're losing sight of the question. Veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. It doesn't matter if you come across a vegan that is being a hypocrite. Veganism itself is still a valid point, just like anti-slavery. Doesn't matter if an abolitionist was buying slaved goods. If they were advocating about veganism, right? About abolition. They wanted the end of slavery. That's what the point was, right? I imagine though, if you're an abolitionist and you staunchly feel that you're against slavery, you're going to avoid using slave goods. But if you had to cross that principle, right, you would still be an abolitionist because you're still fighting for the freedom of enslaved beings. So just because a vegan, there are vegans that are in areas that will come into obstacles where they have to, unfortunately, use something that they know was used or harmed an animal. But when those moments come up that you have the choice, take back your power. Stop giving up your power. Choose the compassionate choice. If you have the option between something, you can't go without, choose the option choose the option with compassion. The plants, they don't need compassion. The animals are enslaved and oppressed. They need compassion. Does that make sense? Like, you're going on about cats and dogs. Like, the point is we shouldn't be breeding animals into existence. I don't care about animals existing out in the wild. I don't care about if cats were naturally adapted to the environments around them and this was their native land, I would have no problem with them existing. The fact is that's not the case. They are domesticated. They are reliant on human care. We took them out of their environment like Egypt, and now they're all over the world. If you leave your cat outside, they eat all the wildlife because they don't know. They're just doing their natural things from, their ancestors, which was to survive, even though they don't need to do it. It's just instincts that are coming through. Kendall, you're still muted.
Okay, so what if in a hypothetical there was no more domesticated animals, right? Mm-hmm. Hypothetical. Okay, we're in a world. You've gotten your way. There's no more domesticated animals. There's nothing but wild animals out there. Now everybody is eating vegetables. Mm-hmm. To meet that kind of demand, there would have to be so much farmland that there wouldn't be room for your wild.
Actually, no, they've looked into this. It's actually quite the opposite. We're dedicating so much land to animal agriculture that we're starving people. So if we got rid of animal agriculture, hold on, let me share you. I have science. So it's reducing the effects of food. Oh my gosh, I don't remember it's a study that talks about, they went over thousands of farms and they found that animal ag takes up 83% of our current agricultural land, and that if we eliminated animal agriculture, that we could feed 10 billion people. We're only 8 billion right now, remember, and starving. We could feed 10 billion people and only use about 25% of our current ag land. I'm sorry?
I was asking, did we pass 8 billion? I remember when we hit 7. I didn't know we had already.
I think we're a little over 8. I don't know if it's 8.5 yet, but the point is we're not near 10 billion yet. We could feed full diets to everybody. We would have that potential. We could re-wild land at the same time.
Believe, though.
So let me find that study. Would you be willing to look at a study? Would you be willing to look at a study?
Oh, of course. I look at studies all day and night.
That's fantastic. I just didn't have my drive up like a responsible person.
Well, if I were to turn on my camera right now, I could show you a farm that has cows.
No, it doesn't matter. The welfare doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Cows.
It doesn't matter.
I'm talking about space.
Yeah. So
Space,
again,
what we're talking about.
83%. I want to underline this, Kendall. We use 83%. 83% of our current agricultural land is dedicated to raising animals, cows, pigs, chickens, fish, is dedicated to raising them and their food. They take up 83% of our land for their food, their pasture land, and them just existing. Okay? If we expanded that, you're going to take up more land. That's with factory farming. 83%, that's with factory farming. And factory farming reduces the footprint of land use, reduces the resource use, right? That's why it exists. So if you expanded the land, Kendall, think about what you're saying. You're talking about animals being products. So you're literally saying that you want to take something that's available to poor people and remove that and make it only for the rich. Do you hear how your argument is silly?
Wait, I didn't say
animals are sentient beings. It doesn't matter about their welfare. Slavery is slavery, and that's immoral. It doesn't matter that factory farming or high welfare doesn't matter. It's all slavery.
So your thought process is to evoke human emotion onto animals.
Okay, so how would you advocate for human slavery, or against human slavery?
How would I?
Would you not appeal to someone's humanity? Would you not be like, would you want to go through this? How would you feel if you were in this system? Is that not kind of appealing to emotion?
From a logical standpoint, that doesn't work. That's not how slavery was banned.
You don't think slavery is wrong because this individual is suffering?
That's not why
Why is slavery immoral?
That's not why the world changes.
Why
I'm talking about realistic.
Immoral?
Let's see. How can we change the world?
Kendall. Why is slavery of humans immoral? I muted you. You need to unmute yourself. I need you to listen when I mute. Why is human slavery immoral?
Well, that wasn't your original question.
Why is human slavery? I'm asking you a new question. Why is human slavery immoral?
Okay, the answer to that question is because it's wrong to. How would I word that?
Is it because you recognize that the other person is having a subjective experience, has their own purpose, and it's wrong for you to force your purpose onto them?
Well, really, the argument is that they're another person.
Exactly. Why do we care about other people? Why do we care about other people?
Just as intelligent. They're no different than me.
What about a human who's not intelligent? Can we enslave them? Can we enslave not smart humans?
Well, what do you mean exactly?
Is it moral, in your perspective, to enslave humans who are not smart?
You're talking about it on an individual basis.
Can you answer yes or no? Yes, of course. So should we enslave humans if they're not intelligent? Should we enslave and exploit them?
So rather than a rule that says that it's wrong to enslave all humans, you would rather there be a rule that you can only enslave them if they're stupid?
I'm asking you if you think that's moral.
You're missing the point.
I think human rights apply to all humans.
Can you follow logic? Can you follow logic? Can you follow logic? Why is human slavery immoral? Why should I not exploit humans that I deem unintelligent?
Because it's not right for one species to...
Why is it not right? Why is it not right, though? Why?
It's unnatural.
Natural? There's tons of other species that enslave others. Things like wasps enslave...
that subjugates itself.
It doesn't matter. I'm asking you, why is it immoral, Kendall? You have a great day. I'm so done arguing with you. My God. It's like arguing with a wall.
Why is he even up here if he's not going to listen?
Yeah. Clearly not listening.
It's kind of going over his head.
Yeah. I wanted to find my studies so bad. Where are they? This isn't it. I feel like I don't know where I put all of my... I had all my studies and I don't know where they are. Anyway, God, I wish I could remember that study. TikTok maybe. Nope, that's not it. I don't remember where I put it. Health, environment. There it is. Found it. Woo! It just took a second. Reducing food's environmental impacts through producers and consumers. So that study literally looked at thousands of farms and found that 83% of land is dedicated to animal agriculture. You should look it up. Again, reducing food's environmental impacts through producers and consumers. I can't believe I forgot that freaking title. I've said it so many times. Anyway, that backs up what I was talking about. That we could feed more people with a plant-based world and have land rewild. Yeah. As far as, go ahead, Lori.
Oh, I was saying that's totally true, and a lot of people don't realize that we are doing hydroponics and other things, to grow.
Yeah. Food. Do you remember any of his other points? I don't know if I addressed them all.
No, I think something else. I think you did. You have like 3 people wanting to come up.
Oh yeah. You can, do you want to bring? I don't know if you want to try bringing one up. See if your mod powers work.
Yeah, they do. But go ahead.
Either way.
Go ahead. Zane has been asking to come up. Crash Out's been wanting to come up. Yeah, we'll get you, Crash Out.
Hey Zane, are you over 18? Oh, we can't hear you if you leave the app. You there?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, are you over 18?
Yes, I'm 27 years old.
Okay, right on. Why aren't you vegan? Or why aren't you vegan yet?
I'm tempted to do it. I just had a couple questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I've seen a lot of vegan TikTokers talk about this subject. Is it not okay for dogs to eat meat?
I think that if you are someone who is caring for a companion and you don't have access to a plant-based pet food, even though you can order them online, I understand that people are going to take care of their companions. They're not the one that is at fault for them existing. And all I could say is that you should try to find vegan food if you can, and to give them an option to try it and see if you can get them to switch over. But I'm not going to chase people. If someone's living vegan in every other aspect of their life, but their animal won't transition to a plant-based diet, I'm not going to hold that against them. Because, I wouldn't, but if they continue to demand animals, that's wrong, right? Mm-hmm. Caring for someone is another story though. And I would also advocate for the lab-grown flesh, although that's still exploiting an animal, unfortunately, to some extent. But I would advocate for that more often, trying to find just the best way that you can get through life.
I just asked because we tried feeding my dog vegan food, but he did not like it. He threw it up.
There's a lot of brands. Have you tried them all?
We've tried them all, and he does not. He just likes salmon food.
Okay, so I would just be mindful that if anything new comes out, to always try. And understand that the salmon, especially the ones that you're feeding to your dog, look like zombies. They don't look healthy. So there's a lot of diseases that are related to how we raise these animals for our pet food, and that there's a lot of tumors and just gross stuff. A lot of animals get sick, and just be aware of that. Yeah, and know that they could have a healthy diet on plants, if not even healthier. They found that dogs, particularly, were having fewer vet visits when they were plant-based. So it could be that maybe you just didn't introduce it to them correctly. But like I said, I'm not going to hold...
We took the steps that we needed. My wife is a vet, so she took the steps that she knows, and I fully trust her with our animal. No, I am not vegan.
Okay. So why would you guys want to put your dog on a plant-based diet?
Because I've heard good things about it, but the thing is, my dog does not accept it, and I just want.
Well, what's stopping you from being vegan?
To be honest, I like the taste of meat, and I've actually tried becoming vegan, yes, but the problem is, I need to have a meat-based diet, and yes, I can eat salad, yes, I can eat vegetables and stuff.
I hardly eat salad.
Well, the problem is with me, I'm a big guy, not saying like I'm fat. I'm saying like I'm just a big, tall gentleman. I'm
Patrick.
6'2". I'm 6'5".
Look up Patrick Baboumian. He is huge.
And I've seen him. Yes, I have seen this man.
Okay, he's vegan.
Oh, I know. I follow that. But the thing is, like I said, with me, I just can't fully process the fact that if I try to fake my mind and say, hey, I need to eat this, but this is vegan, I don't see me eating it because it's tricking my mind.
So what I would do is I would go to Challenge 22, and you can talk to dietitians. They've had 2,000 to 8,000. You've done the challenge?
I've done the challenge, and it does not work for me because, like I keep saying, the way I have to eat.
What specifically didn't work? Because I'm kind of sus of that.
I've tried it.
Yeah, but you're not telling me what didn't work, which makes me sus. Because if it was really an issue, you would have gone to a doctor, right? Oh, I'm not feeling well. Something's wrong. So what happened with you when you tried to go vegan? What happened?
There was a piece of vegan food I had. If I remember right, it was a burger. I think it was like the plant-based burger.
So don't eat that burger.
Well, that's what.
So one
main
plant-based burger. I want to be clear here, Zane. You had one plant-based burger that you didn't like, and you're like, the whole diet
I tried it for a week. I tried because we got the variety pack.
That's not long enough.
We had
Zane, you're such a liar. You are a liar. What is the 22 on challenge? What is it? You said you did it. What is the 22? What does that mean? You're muted, Zane. What's the 22 mean?
So
what's the 22 mean?
Can I say my
What does the 22 mean, Zane? What does I'm gonna kick one more time. What does it mean? What a effing liar. Liar.
Yeah, he had nothing to back it up, saying he looked into.
I did challenge 22 for a week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The 22 is 22 days. Okay?
Yeah.
22 days. Right. Get your lies straight.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Lori. I know I kind of cut you off. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I really don't like liars. I will kick you as soon as I think you're lying.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously not here to actually hear anything. You're just here to feel like you're, I don't know, like a bully, I guess. Yeah, it's true. He did lie about a lot of things.
Yeah. Jason's requesting it. I don't know if you see that.
Sure. Yeah, bring him. I'll bring him up. You're welcome to just throw people up here, Lori. I know I said something like "Don't bring up that idiot" yesterday, but I didn't realize that you were having a conversation with them. So I'm really sorry. You can bring up anybody you want.
Oh, that's okay.
Just so you know. Okay. I just wanted you to know. Like I realized I was like, oh, I hope I didn't come across as too harsh. Like I trust you. So okay, good.
Cool.
Right on. Jason, you're not loading in. I'll give it another couple of seconds. It seems like it's kind of just slow. Maybe leave and come back. Thank you, Sarah. Sometimes I really don't feel like I am. I'm like, God, am I just coming around like, move, get out the way?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like I'm doing.
It's just frustrating when you ask a question, but it can't be answered, and they have to pivot or turn around and do something else. It's just, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Like, if you answer my questions honestly, I don't want to embarrass you, and I don't want to beat you or whatever. I want to help you. But as soon as you start, like, just turning to make excuses, once I've made it clear that we're talking about or unnecessary abuse, right? Like, that's when I start to lose it. Like, wait. We just went over this, that it's abusive. You agree it's abusive. You're still going to do it because it's your right as a supremacist. Got it. Oh, my God. Just drives me up the wall. Like, but, you know, it's funny. I think it's just because the longer I'm vegan and I'm aware of these things, that's what frustrates me. These people don't see this all the time for the most part. So they think that I maybe am just raving about something that they don't really. It's like you haven't shattered that window yet. You know, you got a fog window. You need to shatter it so you can see what the hell it is that you're supporting.
Exactly.
What's behind the curtain?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been vegan for 25 years, so it's just...
Oh, God, Lord. I know your story. I mean, you have so many backgrounds too. You also used to break horses, right? Tell us a little bit about your background. I want to hear about it. How long you've been vegan and how you got to veganism.
Yeah, 25 years. I never really liked eating animals because back then, like, I was able to hatch a chicken in elementary school. They let us do that back then. Okay, I'm 61, so it's like, it was really neat. And when I did that and I saw how the chicken responded to me and played with me and knew her name and everything, that kind of made me not want to. My parents kind of continued to force me, but I didn't want to. And I just finally said that there's no reason for this, and I gave it up. No reason. And I have animal experience, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but I like you said, yes, I used to green break horses when I was 16.
What does green break specifically mean?
Well, that's usually when a person puts their horse out to pasture, and then after a few months, they kind of get a little wild, but they don't want to put a saddle on them and go out there and get bucked off. So that's what I would do.
Wow.
Bring him back.
Lori, wow. Put yourself in a lot of risk there. Woo!
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I had a compound fracture due to one throw, so it's not like I haven't been around it,
right?
But,
That's. I feel like from what I have learned so far, I wasn't really a ton around horses. My family definitely were horse people, and I wanted to be a horse people when I was younger. But I remember when I finally met a horse, I was like, first of all, intimidated because they're huge and massively strong. Yeah. But also, my dad would put me up there with him, and I don't know, I started to feel that I didn't like telling the horse what to do, especially, because the horse was also just so big. So it was like part intimidation, but also part because I was like, I just feel bad doing that. Right. But I did. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was kind of
Finish what you're saying.
So what I had kind of, because I was always curious, horse riding almost seems like it's a gray area because when someone's riding a horse, they don't see what went into what happens beforehand. And I was always like trying to research it, and it just seems like those that are in the job of breaking the horses are probably the most entrenched in it, right? You're like surrounded by people that are like, this is how we do it. You've got to do this to keep this horse safe or make the horse a safe product for this person. So the fact that you came out of that is huge. I have on my my other account even a story about someone who is in a family of people who would break horses, but they did it the humane way. And the story is just so telling. The same thing as you said, just very much in that community. And even though they tried to do things the right way, they realized, like, actually, it's still not right. There's not a right way to do it.
I never rode, I did have a horse. My grandparents bought me a horse, and I never rode my horse. I would, when I did, it would be bareback. I didn't use a saddle because I didn't think that was nice,
Mm-hmm.
And then
strapping them up.
And then I would have to when I had to go out and break a horse. That was, not fun, but, people don't want to do it themselves, just like people don't want to go to a frickin', slaughterhouse.
They don't want to unalive the animals. Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. No, that's 100% it. You're essentially either like the farmer butcher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like fourth of the
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, exactly. So that's why it's just so telling for someone with your background. Like all these people use their background or their history as the reason to not change. Right. That's what I love about your story so much.
That's the problem. People don't accept change well. They're afraid of change because they're too comfortable. And they're afraid to change it up, and sometimes you have to. And I've been reading, I think I sent it to you, they're looking at 2030 as where everything's going to be vegan by 2030. I think I sent that to you.
I think you did too. I don't know if I read it. I have to go look at it again.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Hopefully it's sooner, but that's beautiful. I'm gonna go. I think I did look at that. I'm just gonna look at it again. I don't feel like I've missed any of your messages. I don't know what I did.
Oh, that's
I don't know
okay.
why I can't remember.
I can find it and resend it to you if you want.
Is it just in our chat? Because I can just scroll back. I'll find it.
Might be, yeah. I think I sent it. Either I sent it to you that way, or I sent it to you on a DM.
That is a warm, fuzzy feeling. I do hope it's sooner, but it's good to hear that it's the finish line is within sight.
I would love to see it. It probably won't happen in my life unless I live to be 90 or 100. But
yeah, easy.
No, I don't think I want to live that long.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the quality, right? Like, I don't really want to be like I don't know. Everyone has their own personal preferences. I don't want to speak to at what point should we off ourselves if we're so unhappy. But right. If I can't, there's a certain point where, I just don't want to be so vulnerable and so dependent on somebody. But at the same time, I might feel different in that time, right? I might just care about the pleasures I have at that time.
Right.
So, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about getting older. It's scary, but at the same time, I'm like, I'll be lucky if I make it. Is it going to be that great? I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't think I was going to make it to 27 with everything I was doing. It's like something's going to happen to me.
Yeah, it's a lot of wildness. I grew up with people that thought the same thing, though. Not because they were doing that. They were doing substances that weren't good for them.
Right.
Yeah. But, I also knew people that weren't harming themselves that also were fearful they weren't going to live to past their 20s or something. I don't know why. It seems to be a common fear in us. Maybe it's just something from our ancestors. This little tickle in the back of our brain. You're getting old in your 20s.
Yeah. I wish I was back in my 20s, but...
I'm mixed on that because I felt good about, like, certain aspects of myself.
Daniel, plants don't have
feelings.
feelings.
No, they do not. But I made a lot of stupid decisions in my 20s. But, that's part of who I am now. I know, right? We all did.
Do. And you can't keep beating yourself up for that. You learn. That's why.
That's true.
Learning instead of being comfortable all the time, maybe you'll learn something, but I just think a lot of people are afraid of change. And that's why they're not wanting
to. That's 100%. I honestly think that's truly what it is. And then because it's kind of scary, I feel like corporations that sell animal products have exploited that fear. And that's why it's like even harder because they're like seeing all these, messages all the time. And
right. It's like, why can't we get a vegan commercial on? We should be able to get a commercial on that, represents veganism.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going to go with it. I was like, they claim that we shove it down their throat. And yet it's like every other commercial is either some kind of medication, some sort of animal product, or, a commercial for another show. I don't know. I just feel like that's all we're ever told all the time. Watch this, eat that.
Right. No, you're correct.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where are we at?
No, holding back evolution. Oh,
yeah, that doesn't make sense. That makes sense, actually. I've heard that theory before that because veganism seems to have so many positive aspects to it that it is like that next evolution because we're going to thrive in our environment, right? It's going to be the better thing to find balance in our world.
Right. People don't realize there's only one Earth, There's only one Earth, and I'm Native American, and we learn to respect everything.
Yep, exactly. Only take what you need, respect as you want to be respected.
Right.
Yep, I agree. Wow, I'm only an hour and 30 in. I didn't really advertise very well, though, and maybe my my yelling fit scared everybody off.
No.
Yeah.
It's just much easier if you want to come up and you have a question, great. But if you're asked a question, just answer it. Don't pivot. Don't, circle jerk. Don't bring up some other stuff that has nothing to do with it. And I think, people have the wrong idea. Veganism, like you said, it's a philosophy and and
principle.
Plant-based diet is different. plant-based diet, veganism, they're totally different.
Yeah, the thing with the diet is that you're not affecting anybody, right? That's just about you.
Right.
If you change your diet, that has nothing to do with anybody around you. But the fact is that when you use animals, right, it's just, there's a victim. You're using someone. You don't need to do it.
Right.
That's the only reason why we care. Vegans don't care what you eat.
Exactly.
Or what you do. Yeah.
We just don't want you to kill animals, right? And use them.
Don't exploit them. Don't use them, you know, unless it's in self-defense or, you know, it's obviously in this moment of survival, but that's not what we're talking. We're talking about your regular everyday choices, the choices you have available to you every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Plants don't feel things or they don't build relationships either. Come on.
Yeah, no. And shrimp are sentient. In fact, shrimp, they actually will burn off the female's eyes so that she can't prevent herself from being raped over and over and over again by the male shrimp.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then when we use them, they don't do anything but just separate them. You know, they just pull their bodies apart right there.
Why don't you come up, Skit, and tell us why you think that's true about plants?
Oh, yes. I know they use shrimp meal, but we don't need to. They use that stuff because we have an abundance of animal products because we unalive so many animals. So they take the byproducts of their unalivement and we use them in our fertilizers or other products because otherwise it just goes to a landfill. But we could just stop using animals. They won't put shrimp in the dirt.
Exactly. Or they won't cover up live pigs in a huge vat and cover them with dirt because there's an outbreak of something. You know, I think it's sickening.
Yeah. So imagine a field of plants and we just covered them all in dirt. Are you going to feel for those plants knowing that they don't suffer? The pigs you're going to care about, right?
Yeah, exactly. I hear you.
Yeah. Well, I was just adding to your point, yeah.
Right.
So, I may not be eating vegan plants. So, again, I'm talking about the power that you have. If I had the option of veganic produce, conventional and organic, I would absolutely get the veganic produce without a question. Obviously, people that can't afford it, I would still advocate they try to do the best they can. But even conventional, they're going to use animal products. They just don't always have to tell you. So I say eat the plants, live another day, advocate for the individuals so that there is maybe a label later that says these plants were grown veganically without exploitation of animals.
Right. And that's where hydroponics comes in. You know?
Hydroponics are actually a great
take
solution.
Up less space, more food, not killing bugs.
Less water too.
Rodents. Yeah, not killing what you're worried about that's on the ground.
Exactly. Yep.
But we kill less of those bugs than we do farm animals. We only kill like 7.5% billion, like in 7.5 billion versus 93 billion is big.
Well, and even that 7 billion is still that study itself. They even say that it's not totally. This is their guesstimation because there's no real way to actually test the bugs that are around an area. And I would just tell people, it's like, I think we should be concerned about the bugs, of course, you know, like you said, hydroponics, indoor gardening. But right now, like we don't all have those options available to us. If you did, then absolutely take advantage of them. But we're just not there yet. The animal products, though, you can absolutely easily avoid those.
Oh yeah, all you got to do is look at the label.
Yeah, I mean, just don't pick up the animal flesh or exactly. Just know that what you're picking up is from an animal. Don't pick it up.
Exactly.
I understand it's your life. We're not here to tell you what to do. This is alive as a PSA. Hey, guess what? Animals feel pain. They don't want to be used. You don't have to use them. You can live vegan. If you're worried about being healthy, I got resources. I want you to be healthy and happy. And these are all great resources. Challenge 22 for a dietitian. nutritionfacts.org to see the studies, or the Dailey Dozen, which is just a checklist. ChatGPT to ask for a meal plan. Then you can double check it in Cronometer. All great resources.
You get vitamin B and omega-3s from plants. It all comes from plants.
B12 comes from bacteria. But and omega-3s come from plants too. That's where the animals that you use get it from. They get it from the plants.
That's where they get their protein. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
And like I was saying, I don't know if I told you this, but I had to go in for a surgery for my shoulder, and the doctor wanted to check my heart because of my age, and I understood that. But he did stick a small camera up in my arm to check my heart, make sure everything was okay. And he looked at me after it was over with, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "What are you doing? You have absolutely no clogging of your arteries, no nothing. What are you fucking doing?" And I said, "I'm vegan, I'm plant-based." And he's like, "Keep it up." So that's what doctors and nutritionists, doctors and nutritionists are totally different. Doctors don't look into that as much as, nutritionists.
Yeah, he didn't even think about nutrition until you were like, "Oh, it's my vegan diet."
Yeah, I said I'm plant-based, and he's like, "That's doing it." It's like it shocked him. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's good. Maybe I won't die of a heart attack."
Yay! I love it. Oh my God, that's awesome to know, though. Too, like I don't know, I'm sure that gives you some relief to just know that you have clear flow through your body. That I love that. That's fantastic.
I was not expecting to hear that, but it's like it shocked him as much as it shocked me.
I love it. That's such great news. Yeah, exactly. See, it's been shown that it can reverse, our number one unaliver.
Right.
That itself, I feel like, was like, when I first learned that, I was like, wouldn't everybody want to do that to avoid our number one unaliver?
Heart disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
Killers, heart disease.
But I don't know. The fact that what I learned actually, because what drew me into veganism in the first place was, unfortunately, I wanted to be skinny, and then it went into health, and then I learned about the animals that way around, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like if I had been shown the animal stuff first, I probably would have converted faster. Health is so boring. People give up on diets all the time, and it doesn't, again, it's about yourself and not others.
Right.
But it's so crazy, though, that it's that healthy.
Yeah.
So what is it that, if you don't mind me prying, what is it that you typically eat in a day? Unless that's too much on the spot, because sometimes I get asked that, and I'm like, I don't know sometimes. I just eat.
Right. No, it just depends on my mood, what I'm like in for. I eat a lot of soups, like vegetable soups right now, and
soups are great because they're easy and they're highly nutritious. Like you keep all the nutrients there, super cheap. Yeah, you can have those year round.
Right. I eat legumes and beans and rice and gosh, and I eat plant-based meats. I love those. I think they're awesome.
I have been really loving tempeh. Every time I have it, I'm just like, oh my God. I got that umami flavor, just, I don't know, it just gets me every time. Every time my man puts it, because he's the one that always cooks. Every time he puts tempeh in there, I lose it. I love it so much. Yeah. It's called Light Life is the brand. And I don't know, maybe it's just the way they do it. Yeah. But it makes me want to try like higher tiered brands, I guess, of tempeh to see like what's the, what is it, the taste difference. Yeah.
Right.
So
I hear you.
I don't know. I'm a weirdo though. I was brought up eating spinach. Like my grandma used to put it in a bottle for me. They took a bottle and they cut the hole in the nipple so I could get this creamed spinach.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
A good way to trick you, huh?
It worked. I loved cream spinach. I still love it to this day. Yeah. It's so funny. I know, right? It's the weirdest thing, spinach. Yeah.
That's good. I don't eat it like that, but I eat it raw. I like raw spinach.
Yes. I like it raw and I like it creamed. Canned is okay. Oh no.
What happened?
Oh, it says I have a violation. Your live is flagged for sexually suggestive content. Are they talking about when I was talking about the cow? That was like so long ago. Oh. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Should I like restart the live since I have a violation?
That's up to you. I don't really know that much about. I'm learning, but I mean, whatever
I
you
don't know.
think you do.
Okay. Sierra says we should restart. I'll restart. I don't know what I did that was so sexually explicit. Like,
Probably when you mentioned the bull, you know.
Okay. That's so
Maybe
long
that.
ago,
I don't
though.
know.
Like,
That's
that was so delayed. Okay.
It's so stupid. Yeah, I know. Okay. We'll come
I'll
back.
see you guys in a minute. All right.
Okay.
I might go to the restroom. It might take a little more. I'll see you guys in a bit. All right. There we go. All right, I'm gonna go maybe 30 minutes. If it's good enough, I'll go an hour, but I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes. I'm pretty tired. I'm back. Lori. Yeah, I'm sorry I took a second. I saw your message and I didn't check out the thing yet, but I will do that right after this. Hey!
I wasn't sure they were letting you back.
Yeah, no, I just took a second because I was like, clearly I keep letting, today, I don't know, I am hot-headed. And so I gave myself a minute to like, I want to talk to people. I don't want to argue. And I keep jumping to it. I'm just frustrated. We're talking about human rights. And
you get frustrated easily.
Yeah, I genuinely would like to have a conversation. I'm not going to let them get to me. I'm not going to call anybody names.
It's called passion. That's what it's called.
That's true. I'm not apologizing for it, I guess. I'm going to now switch to the good cop.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the Lori. Just because I just feel like every time you talk to people, it disarms them immediately because, you're just an honest soul talking to another honest soul, and I feel like it just cuts them right at the knees. Yeah.
I'd rather approach them kind of like on the level. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I get the merit there of reaching to someone where they're at because they're going to be more receptive for sure.
Yeah. So you got anybody requesting up?
Not yet. Everyone hit the like or tap the screen so maybe we'll get some people in here to talk to us and share the live if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you want to see some people come up, that's like the best way to do it. I'm only talking to people over 18. TikTok rules. I also just don't really feel comfortable talking to kids. It's whatever. They need to hear this story too. I don't care if they're in the chat, but I don't care to talk to them. There's definitely appropriate places to talk to kids. I just feel like the internet's kind of one of those weird places, so at least up here.
Yeah, they were up. Be careful.
Okay. Hey, be careful. Are you over 18? Hello? I can hear your background.
Yo, can you hear me?
Are you over 18?
Yeah.
What year were you born?
2007.
That makes you 17. That's too bad. I was hoping we were going to have a conversation.
Yeah, me too.
I was almost going to let him up, but because he took so long to respond, I was like, I feel like there's a troll here.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on up, guys. Unless you're already vegan. I mean, you can come up and say, that I'm vegan and I like it or something or whatever. But I'd rather talk to
Do you want me to bring
someone
somebody
who...
up?
Oh, yeah, if you want, yeah. Invite people. I have a hard time keeping track of...
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
There you go.
What up?
Hey, are you over 18?
Yeah, I was born 96. I'm 28.
Okay, right on. So why aren't you vegan yet?
So why aren't I vegan yet? I just haven't gone vegan.
Yeah.
I've never tried it, but
I'm gonna ask that you just keep your camera off, just because there's weirdos on the internet, and I'm just trying to keep my live safe. But
yeah, no, you're good.
so what was your answer again? Sorry.
I just never went vegan. I never, but I want to try because I honestly don't eat too much meat as well, though.
Okay. Yeah,
Weird,
so I
dog,
would suggest if you genuinely want to go vegan, I would go check out my resources above my head. Challenge 22 if you want to talk to a dietitian. Nutritionfacts.org, they have a little checklist called the Dailey Dozen, and it just tells you what your daily needs are, and you just check it off like 3 servings of beans, 3 servings of fruit, etc. I think 4 servings of fruit. And then there's also ChatGPT. You can just ask it questions. And what I use Chat for is to make meal plans, and then I double check them in Cronometer to make sure that, because sometimes Chat makes mistakes. That's why it's not really itself a resource, but it can take you to resources. And like I said, it can make that meal plan, and you can double check it in Cronometer, which tells you all the macro and micronutrients in any food that you eat. You can type it in there, or you can scan barcodes, and it'll list all that out, and you can see if you get everything.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, I would just take like a screenshot. But yeah, is there like any, if I gave you those resources, would you be willing to go vegan?
I'll go look at that. I'll go look at it and see what it's about.
Okay.
I don't know. I just want to see like how you live off being vegan.
Okay. Lori, did you want to
That's
add
what
something?
I want to know.
Oh, okay.
What it is.
So, why is it that you want to go vegan, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the animals are maybe dirty. Probably I don't know. They
Okay.
like clean it and stuff.
I
It's kind
mean,
of nasty. I don't know.
some of
Sometimes
them
like
are
chicken.
kept
I don't
in.
really like chicken. Chicken is nasty.
Yeah, they're all kept in really bad
Kinda
conditions.
scary.
If I asked you, if I had a dog next to me and I had them immobilized, would you think that it would be immoral for me to kick this dog for my benefit and exercise?
I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know if it's.
I mean,
fucking,
it's
if
just a
already,
yes or no. Would you think it's right or wrong?
Well, it's up to you. I wouldn't care.
Right, but what's your moral
It wouldn't
opinion
bother
about
me.
it?
It's not gonna
Why?
bother. It's not gonna bother me. You know?
Is it immoral though
Unless
that
it's
I
my
do
dog.
that? Why would it be
Unless
wrong?
it's my
if
dog,
it's-
it's not gonna bother me.
So
but
it's okay if I do this
that's
to a
your own-
homeless dog? It's okay that I do it to homeless dogs? I just
That's-
go
that's
around
okay in your own-
collecting and I kick them just for fun and exercise? That's moral in your,
Well, no, it's
in
not
your
okay.
perspective?
It's not okay. No, it's not okay. But
So
that's
it's
like
not moral. That's what we're getting to. That's what I was asking you. Is
No,
it
it's not.
moral in your perspective that I use this dog, I
Yeah.
kick them for my exercise and
Yeah,
entertainment?
like that's what I'm trying to say. Like me personally, I'm not gonna do. Yeah, but it's
Right, because you think
no,
it's
someone
immoral.
else. Someone else
Why
might
do
say no. It's
you-
okay.
I don't care. I'm talking to you.
Yeah,
Why
yeah, no, I don't
do
think
you,
so.
hush, why do you think it's immoral for me to kick a dog?
Because I'm just not gonna kick it. I'm just.
Yeah,
Because I wouldn't want
why?
to kick myself.
Right. You know that dog has a similar capacity to feel suffering, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And
Yeah,
it's
they can feel
immoral.
that. So, yeah.
And it's immoral to cause someone who has that capacity to suffer when I could just kick something else, right?
You kick a rock, yeah.
Exactly. I could kick anything. Just as long as they're not a feeling being, I can get my exercise elsewhere. So I'm here telling you as a vegan that you can get your nutrition without kicking a dog, without taking the head off of a cow or a pig or a chicken.
Yeah. So what do you get your
They
your protein from then?
Well, first, all plants have protein. If you get enough calories, you'll get your needed protein. But I often will eat tempeh, tofu, beans, nuts, quinoa, rice. I don't know. I don't have an issue with gaining weight. In fact, if anything, I eat too much. So I don't have an issue. But I'm not like a bodybuilder or something. So I don't know exactly what a bodybuilder needs, but I know people that are bodybuilders that do it just fine. I know dietitians that can help you if you wanted to do something that requires different nutrition. You can do anything on a vegan diet.
Yeah, that's great. That's what I'm wondering too. That's pretty interesting too. Bodybuilder on a vegan diet. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, look up Patrick Baboumian. He's just the biggest vegan I know. There's a lot of others. There's also Nimai Delgado. He hasn't eaten animal flesh his whole life. He's huge.
Dang.
Yeah, Patrick Baboumian. It looks like a freaking ox. He's huge.
Patrick Baboumian. I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, he's huge. Look, he's just. Yeah, so you can do anything on a vegan diet. And that's what I'm advocating for, is people to stop using animals. They're sentient beings. They don't want to be used, just like we wouldn't want to be used. Just like you said, we shouldn't kick the dog because I don't want to be kicked. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And how long has it been since you ate meat?
I have been vegan for 9 years.
Oh, shoot. That's pretty sad.
Yeah. I was vegetarian before that because I wanted to be skinny, and that was like the quickest way to kind of lose weight. But then I started coming across, because I called myself vegan at the time, but I was still eating dairy, which is not vegan. And it wasn't until I came across documentaries that were exposing what these animals go through. And not just the, there's the standard practices, which is what Dominion is. It also has some humanely raised, small grass-fed, pasture-raised, small local slaughter farms. Like, that's all in Dominion. But I saw other documentaries as well that showed like what you might call the most humane farm. And like, once you understand that these cows are literally just, I shouldn't say literally, they're virtually the same as a dog. They call them grass puppies. They love to play with balls. They're very maternal. They love their groups. They get in groups. They like, if a mother cow has a baby on a sanctuary, they've now seen that they do like it takes a village kind of style, where the cows take turns watching over the new calf. You know, so they're very community knit, you know, and yet we use them as like an object, and we think that they don't care what we do to them, you know. That's just what it comes down to. We recognize that, just like the dog, it's just not right to do. So what's stopping you from going vegan?
I don't even know what's gonna stop me from going. I really don't. Honestly, I don't. I'm not. I guess I'm not full on vegan, but I'm pretty much like, I'm like you. I still do and indulge in certain. But I don't really eat meat. You know, I don't eat chicken. I don't like steak. I'm not gonna go to a restaurant and order a steak ever. You know. So I'll eat, if I do eat meat, it has to be like a certain meat.
It sounds like you do care. It sounds like you do care. Yeah. I would just say watch Dominion, because then you know whatever these labels are that are on these products, you'll know what they mean, what exactly they mean. You know, it's like there's a meaning that we have in our heads, and then there's like an actual standard that they have to check boxes for, and it's like, what are those standards and what does that look like? And it's a free documentary on YouTube. I appreciate you saying you're going to watch it. If you watch it, I would absolutely love for you to come back up here and talk to me, or even private message. I would just love to know if anything's changed for you. And then after that, if you feel that you... Say again?
I said, yeah, I'll hit you up.
Okay, awesome.
I'll let you know.
Yep. And then take a screenshot just so you have the resources, and you can even just casually look at them. They'll help you if you want help, and they're just there if you want them.
Yeah, I'll screenshot it.
Awesome. I really appreciate you. I mean, do you have any questions? I know it's kind of hard to say I'm going to go vegan right on the spot, so I really appreciate you being willing to go look at those.
Yeah, no, nothing really. I try to get more fruit, and I don't really eat too much fruit. I eat a lot more nuts and stuff, almonds and cashew.
I can relate with that. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I loved fruit, and I don't know, now as an adult, it's kind of hard to eat fruit sometimes. I don't know why. Yeah, I've been getting the fruit bars just because they're like easy. These are the ones that I eat sometimes if I'm feeling too lazy.
Yeah, that's it. I've ate those before too. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're a manufactured thing and whatever, but they're a convenience food that at least is giving you your fruit servings if you need it. You know, if you're lazy, there's options you can do. Smoothies are another great option. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Oh, you're reading the comments.
I'm just reading the comments.
I mean, it's just because I was having my conversation with you. I don't really pay attention to the comments because sometimes they're just
I wish you could turn them
people
off.
trying to run me. Yeah, sometimes that would be nice. Yeah, I'm sure there is an option in there. Yeah, I also like to respond to them, and sometimes, even though they're being trolls, it actually increases the algorithm because they're interacting with my live, so they're unknowingly kind of helping me. they're making my yeah. So I don't like it, but you know, I'll tolerate it to a point just because it helps the algorithm. But All right. Well, I think I'm going to move on. I appreciate you coming up,
Yep,
though,
for
and
sure.
being willing to
Thanks for
look
having
into
me.
those resources. Yeah. And like I said, please reach out to me again. I want to hear, what you thought about Dominion.
Yep, we'll do.
Awesome. All right. You have a great day.
Yep, you too.
Bye. That was fantastic, guys. Like, I love open-minded people. That was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah. Open-minded
Especially
people.
when it's a guy.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
like
that way.
no,
but-
I agree with you. I typically will hold women to a higher standard where I'm like, please, I feel like
Right.
as women, we will experience oppression more often, and that oppression that you like, sexism itself, is really
Yeah.
frustrating to deal with and really annoying. And it's like you don't wish it on other people because it's so effing annoying. And if you've experienced that, I feel like that should translate when you see other people experiencing some other atrocity or, some other violation. Like,
Right.
how can you want your own respect but not respect others? I don't know.
Hold on, she'll bring you up. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah, two in the queue.
Yeah, I think this one was the one that's spamming my chat. Are you a child?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm like 15, but I sound sick right now. Wait, I'm
I'm sorry. I can't talk. So I can't talk to children. I understand. It sounds like you had a great question. I've already had to restart twice. I don't want to do it again. You can ask your question in the chat. I'll try to pay. I'll watch you. I'll wait for you. It sounded like you genuinely wanted to ask me something. Let's see. We'll wait for her to kind of type in her question.
Yeah, you got three.
Do you know who else has been here the longest?
No, they're all about the same. They've all about the same.
Okay.
Probably the girl would be next.
Okay. I don't see her question coming up, so we're going to move on. That girl.
Hi.
Hey, are you over 18?
I'm 18.
Okay, what year were you born? Hello?
The 2006.
Okay. Right on.
I'm not vegan.
So why aren't you vegan?
Because I don't want to be.
Okay. So what made you want to come up on the live?
Because I don't really I don't understand why it's such a big deal.
Okay. So veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. So I don't want to demand someone's oppression or exploitation for my pleasure, when I don't need to.
Well, they were put on this earth for us to eat them.
So I want you to recognize that you're using the same arguments that people that enslaved other humans said. They said it was their right, and that these people that are different were put on the earth for them.
Eating meat is not the same as slavery.
I'm saying that you're viewing someone who has some traits that you deem lesser than you. You're saying it's okay to oppress and exploit them. And I'm telling you, you're using a supremacist argument to justify that.
Actually, we have chickens, we have goats, and they are not enslaved. They are not treated poorly.
Would you trade places with them?
I'm not a goat.
Would you trade places with them, knowing that you would get the exact same treatment that they receive? You'd be handled exactly the same?
My chickens lay eggs regardless, so what is the point?
Do you know the ancestors of chickens?
God? Like what?
You think chickens
came from God?
Okay, so they come from red jungle fowls who laid maybe 13 eggs a year. Those were God's chickens, okay? Humans then took God's chickens and made God's chickens mate with another chicken that they would not normally mate with, so that their baby was deformed, not what God intended. We did that over and over, but you took God's creature and you deformed them for your own pleasure. Do you think God likes that?
He put them on this earth for us to eat.
But you deformed them, and you demand that they continue to be deformed.
I did not deform anything.
Do you know what supply and demand is?
Of course I do.
What is it?
If you have a higher supply, you usually have a lesser demand.
Supply and demand is when you pick up a product from a store, that's your demand. That's a signal to the producers and whoever else that you want more of that product. That's a demand. They meet your supply.
A product like this?
A product like your brain being mushed in. God, I think of like that little meme of the like puddle face. Like you think you're making jokes and you're owning me, but you just gave away that you know what you're doing is wrong because you have no defense. All you can say is, nanner, nanner, I'm a child. Like, good luck in the world. Welcome to adulthood, child. Ridiculous. Oops, hold on a second. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So there was actually another release of some footage of like the super. So in the UK actually has the highest welfare laws in the world, and they give awards to the farms that have the highest welfare. And Joey went and investigated. Joey Carbstrong and Torin. I don't know Torin's last name, unfortunately, but Torin is his. They're together, and they both went in and watched these farms. They put in cameras. These humane farms beat the pigs with poles if they're too small or they look sickly. These pigs were under these kind of a shed, or what is that called? Like the curved metal, like a little hut. They're all in there, but they have. What was that? A shed. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word shed. So anyway, they're all in there, you know, they have room to move around, but they still get sick. They still have abscesses. They're still stressed out. And when those animals are sick and not doing well, the farmers come along and they just unalive them in some fashion because they're not good enough. And the fashions they did it, this is the highest welfare. Again, took a metal pipe, something hard and metal, and used that to unalive these animals. That's the humane method, apparently, which is not. You're supposed to use bolt guns, but even that, you know, like, if someone was doing this with dogs, kept dogs in this humane fashion, they're in this nice big shed, like they have room to move around, right? But they're still getting sick, you know, they still are being put down with bolt guns. Does that sound good? Do you think that person is a humane dog carer? You know, it's being humane to their dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people don't understand when they bring up the point of using a bolt gun. The majority of the time, those things don't hit in the right spot. And they flail around, they scream, and then they get their throat cut, and they're still flailing around and screaming, and they're still alive.
Yep.
So.
Yep. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. Well, if anybody thinks that's false information, please request up. Let's see. We do have, I think David was up here before. Or did you bring someone up? Awesome.
Oh, yeah, he's been in there.
No, that's fine. We can do David next. You're next, David. Hey, are you over 18? Homestead atheist?
I'm 34.
Right on. So why aren't you vegan? I'm sure it's in the name, though.
Oh, well, a couple reasons. One, I'm type 1 diabetic, so to be vegan would be a death sentence.
Actually, they found that veganism, a whole food plant-based diet, can actually reverse some of the
type 2,
of that.
not type 1.
Okay, so I'm not going to argue with you about health. You can go to Challenge 22. Anybody can be vegan, my friend.
I have.
Okay, how long is the challenge?
Cannot be vegan.
How long is the challenge?
6 months.
Okay. Homestead, I'm done talking to you. You're clearly a liar. Wait. It's 22 days. It's right there. 6 months. Come on up, David. Please be honest. I'm fine if you really think you're right. That's fine. You can talk with passion, whatever. That's fine. I talk like that. Just don't lie. It's not 6 months. It's 22 days. I'm not going to talk to somebody who is lying. The full challenge is 22 days. It's challenge 22. It's not fatal. You're just claiming that without science. All right, David, I'm really sorry. I know you requested. You might have to leave and come back. It's not loading. It's one of these two. I'm going to go with Holiday.
Hello.
Hey, are you over 18?
Yes, I am 29.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
Well, I am a researcher. I don't fundamentally see anything wrong with veganism. I think ethical treatment of animals is important. One thing that bothers me, though, is that in veganism, it's rather hypocritical if you're a vegan and you're taking medicine, because almost all medicine is derived through animal testing.
How is it hypocritical?
Because you're claiming that, you're for ethical treatment of animals and all that, but you are still benefiting, and it's really not a major knock, but you're still benefiting from exploitation of animals.
I don't disagree. I don't agree with animal testing for cosmetics or medicine. In fact, they find that I think it's 96% of animal tests that were successful fail in human tests. 96. Cancer research, 0 have made it to human or have been successful in human trials. So we don't need animal research. What we need is to invest in our computer technology, because that's actually been shown to be more reliable and cheaper.
I appreciate what you're saying, and that's definitely in silico, what you're referring to, computer testing. That is certainly something in the future that could replace animal testing.
Right.
And
Holiday,
the point that you...
To your point, you can be vegan anywhere. And just recognize that some people will come into obstacles, but it's about what you want to do, right? It's not about what anybody else thinks about you. It's what you want to support. And if you have to take something to survive or maintain your quality of life, like your quality of life will greatly diminish if you don't use this thing, then I would say use that, but also advocate for the individuals that you're now oppressing, because you have to. You are being forced to violate your own principles. Doesn't that seem like an injustice to you as well?
No, I don't disagree with you. It's just the point being that by the way, what you said about a lot of the tests being largely ineffective, that is true. But the reason that we have to do those tests is because before you go into human trials, you want to make sure.
Sure. At one point, I can understand that there might have been an argument for that, but today we don't need it, right? We can absolutely eliminate it and actually progress faster, even possibly with science, right? Like, I would feel like animal testing is almost holding us back because they're not human, right? They don't respond to things like we do. And I understand that there's some of this fear of what's lethal or not, but again, we can use technology, right? I understand though, maybe what you're trying to argue is that as an individual, I don't have as much sway in that, right? If I have to take that medicine, are you just saying that I'm a hypocrite because I want to live another day, so I'm taking that medicine?
I'm just saying that
I'm just trying to understand.
Right. I'm saying it is important to acknowledge that where we are right now, and by the way, what you said that we don't need animal testing, that is not true at the moment. That is definitely not true. We need animal testing to make sure that I'm telling you, I do this professional. Where we are at right now is that we do animal testing to mitigate damage to humans before we go and inject them with experimental drugs. You can disagree, but that's a fact.
Even if stopping animal testing slowed down the progression of science, I'd still advocate that we eliminate using animals. It's an injustice to violate someone's body when they haven't done it, especially to breed them just to be violated. That's immoral. Why don't we do that to humans?
You're right. I don't disagree with you. I think a major distinction between our ethics is that I do value human life over animal life. And that means if animals do have to suffer,
but again, you're making a false dichotomy. You don't need to use animals. Schmatzis did some really not ethical things, right? But they did discover things as well. You could argue if they continued, they could have potentially progressed science faster because they're testing on humans, right? That would directly correlate to the humans. But that's immoral.
Right. No, and I get it. It's actually ironic because if we removed animal testing, we would be moving more towards the direction of schmazzies. By using animals, we're getting further ethically away from being schmazzies because we
No,
aren't
we're
testing
being schmazzies to the animals.
Yeah, there's no difference.
No, well, that's why I made the point that
So I'm
ethically we
saying,
disagree. I
Holiday,
think humans have a better
Holiday,
value than animals.
look, you don't need to value them the same. It's kind of weird that you don't, because you're just literally going off of your intelligence, and that's an
I'm going off of
arbitrary
scientific
trait.
research.
Arbitrary trait. They matter in the ways that matter to us. They're having a subjective experience. They can have subjective feelings like pain and joy. They have personal interest in continuing to have those experiences and weighing them out on their preferences, right? If we had humans in that state who are not sapient, let's say, but they're sentient, it would still be immoral to exploit those humans just because they're vulnerable to us. I'm telling you, the animals, maybe they don't think like you do, maybe they don't look like you do, but there are humans that don't look and think like you, right? So what then is the moral line? Why is it then okay to test till they die or are unalive and are harmed or puking or whatever? Why is that more moral than testing on humans who maybe are in the same mental capacity?
Okay, I will definitely address that. So your point, where we disagree, is that, just to clarify, is that you view animals as important and their lives are as valuable as humans, correct?
No, that's not what I said. I said that they matter morally for the same reasons. Let me put it another way. If I had a fire, let's say there's a fire, there's a baby in there, and there's a really elderly woman in there. Who are you going to save?
I would save the baby.
You would save the baby, exactly. But does that mean that you're going to exploit old people because you value them less? It's okay now to violate their bodily autonomy?
No, but
right.
So
I'm trying to tell you, just because you value animals less doesn't mean that you now have the right to exploit them.
And that's where we fundamentally disagree, is that if it's benefiting or saving a human life, I think it is okay to exploit.
Answer, but I'm telling you, you don't need to.
But that is where you are wrong, and where my expertise in this does come into play. No, in silico data is not good enough for doing experiments.
What case is human slavery morally acceptable?
Now, okay, don't go into this argument because it's totally irrelevant.
What case makes human slavery moral?
No argument, but we're not talking about human.
Exactly.
I'm not talking
now
about
tell me, Holiday, tell me, why is it immoral to exploit a human? Why is it immoral to enslave them?
You keep, and I will answer this, but I just want to point out that you keep coming back to that.
Well, just answer it. Just answer it. I don't need your context. Just answer it. Why is it immoral for me to exploit another human and enslave them?
Because no human is above another human.
Why?
Because that's my fundamental ethics. Again, what I'm trying to get to is that we disagree on ethics.
As a scientist, you don't have a reason why you should respect someone. You just...
Because they're a human.
So what's the difference between saying they're part of my circle as a human versus they're part of my circle as a race? What is the difference?
Because there's no difference between races. I don't know why you're making this a race thing. It's very strange.
Because I'm telling you, even if someone was another race and not as intelligent, maybe the cognition of a cow, it would still be immoral to exploit that human. Because they're sentient. They're having an experience.
Okay, well, let me give you one example of why, in my opinion, humans are above animals. For one, humans...
It doesn't matter, Holiday.
It does matter. That's fundamentally...
No,
okay.
You're just so confused. The things that matter are the capacity to suffer, the capacity to experience life, the capacity to want to continue living life, having more experiences. That's all that matters. Anything else is you picking arbitrary traits so that you as the oppressor feel comfortable violating someone else's autonomy, using their body for your sensory pleasure. Yeah, I agree, Sierra. He wasn't tracking. Go ahead, Lori. Sorry.
Oh,
I feel like he wants...
There's another person in the queue.
Oh, yeah. You can just bring him up if you want. Noah. Oops, I hit the wrong button.
He's been waiting. I just
Awesome. Well, I appreciate. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you waiting, Noah.
I have a
Hey,
couple
are you,
arguments on this point.
before you start though, I have to make sure, are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay. So I do want you to answer my question, why aren't you vegan yet? And then I'll let you continue with your statement.
I'm Christian for one, and it states in the Bible that God made animals for us to eat. For one.
Can I be vegan and Christian?
Two, even
Can I
if
be vegan? Hey Noah, can I be vegan and Christian?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to talk about religion. It's a choice.
God made animals for
So
us to eat.
can I be vegan and Christian? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Even
yes
if,
or no? Noah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I just said yes 3 times.
Okay, is it delayed or something? Because I asked 3 times.
Let's just say everybody in the world.
There must be a delay. You seem to be on a delay.
Everyone in the world was vegan. They would still. Even if everyone in the world was vegan, they would still be killing animals. Because if not,
so Noah,
animals would overpopulate the earth.
I need you to hush. I know you feel like you just went on Google and found every argument against veganism. Veganism is not against unaliving animals. It's against the exploitation and unnecessary cruelty to sentient beings, including animals and yourself. So with that in mind, now, why are you not vegan? So it's not about crop deaths. Why aren't you vegan? You're muted. I'll send you a little invite. It's at the bottom. Okay, well, you have a great day, Noah. I'll answer your question about overpopulation. The animals are only at the numbers that they are because we force them to breed either through artificial insemination or we put a female pinned in with a male, and we then exploit their baby and whatever other things come out after, and that's wrong. We don't need to breed them. Even if they bred in their own capacities, they would not meet the numbers that that's why we intervene. They're not breeding fast enough. So, but even so, would it be moral to take a human woman and a human man that don't really necessarily want to mate with each other or, have developed a bond? They're just put in a room because we recognize it's that season for them and they're both randy. Like, does this not sound like a nasty situation? Sometimes they... Go ahead, Lori.
No, I was going to say, yeah, it does.
It's terrible. Terrible. Holding her down. Oh, I didn't realize we had 2 people here. I don't like your name. I'll just call you Wrong. Okay, Wrong. Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 20.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
Because I don't want to be, and meat tastes good.
Oh, why don't you want to be vegan? Just for taste pleasure?
Yeah, purely for taste pleasure, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But I do understand factory farming and all that. I do make an
Do you think it's wrong?
Factory farming in general, I feel like it is a little bit more cruel. I wouldn't really necessarily look at it as right or wrong. I just see it as more cruel than typical norms. So I guess like a grass-fed cow that's, it's still cruel to kill them necessarily, but I guess if I was a cow, I'd rather be raised on a farm than a factory farm because then I have a happy life and then
So you do recognize
randomly get shot in the head and then I'm food, but
right.
At least I had a happy life on a farm rather than a happy life.
Okay, so you do recognize that they have the capacity to suffer.
Yeah, there's a capacity to suffer for every living being.
Okay. And is it moral to cause someone who has the capacity to suffering unnecessarily? Is it moral to cause that?
No, it's not moral to cause that, but I'm willing to put my morals aside to eat a good meal.
So again, you think taste pleasure justifies violating someone's bodily autonomy?
If it was a human, no, but if it was an animal, yes.
And what is the moral difference?
That they're not human and they don't have a.
So how is your argument?
They are not on the same consciousness or intelligence.
So how is your argument? Okay.
They do not.
Clearly, we're not here for the last. Okay, hush, big. Wrong. Okay, listen. Animals maybe don't think like you, but we have humans that don't think like you. We have humans that don't contribute to society. They don't have family, but it would still be immoral to exploit those individuals because they're still having an experience. Animals are much the same way. Just because they don't benefit you on a society scale or whatever, they don't reciprocate morality, just because they don't look like you or think exactly like you, doesn't mean that you now have a supremacist way of thinking that now you're the dominant one, therefore it's your moral right to oppress.
Yes, I am a human supremacist. We will conquer the stars.
Okay. So what is the moral difference?
You are holding humanity back with your weak mindset.
How is your way of talking any different than white slavers in America? They literally said, you're not in my group, therefore it's okay that I exploit and enslave you.
Well,
in fact, they literally said it was their right to enslave them. They literally said it was their right to enslave those other people because they were different. Why is that wrong?
Well, if you look at it from a modern perspective, it is wrong. But if I was back
then... Can you tell me why, instead of trying to talk a bunch of words? Can you tell me why it's immoral to exploit a human instead of saying, yeah, it's wrong? Can you tell me why?
Well, I mean, I would just say what anyone else would say. It's because it hurts.
Why is it wrong? Oh, good. We finally got somewhere. Exactly. They're having subjective feelings like they have the capacity to suffer. Correct? Yeah. Right. Doesn't matter how intelligent a human is, right? We know they have the capacity to suffer. And it would be wrong to cause them unnecessary suffering.
Yeah, but
do you know what nociceptors are? Do you know what nociceptors are? I'm going to tell you because you don't know. They're nerve endings in your flesh that tell you when you're experiencing excruciating pain in your skin. The animals you use have the same nerve endings. They have nociceptors. So when you see a cow or a pig or a chicken, it feels how it would if it were a human. They feel the same pain. Okay? They're experiencing that. And they're weighing out that, and they do not prefer it. So what gives you the moral right to put that on someone for your taste pleasure? Why can't I do that to a human when we know humans and animals have the same capacity to suffer?
I have no problem. You can try to do it to a human, but they'll probably shoot you in the head.
Do you think that's moral? Do you think that's moral?
No.
Okay, let me put it in more simple terms, because I don't think you're getting it. Why should I shall ask first, do you have the preference to continue living and for your autonomy to be left alone, and only interrupted at your own consent? Like, I have to get your consent if I want to invade your world.
Yes, obviously. Stop giving me nothing burgers of questions.
Why? Why should I respect your preference?
Wait, what? Oh, I don't care. You don't have to respect my preference.
Why do you have these
I'm not threatened by you. Why would I care? You're not a threatening person. You're not a
I really hate talking to people that genuinely just don't want to learn. I'm losing it, man.
Yeah. It's like, why are you even up here?
Exactly. I keep wanting to ask him that, Laura. You keep saying that. It's such a great question. Why are you up here?
Why are you up here? Yeah. Just to scout your crap?
Yeah, like, they say it's because they feel like I'm forcing them, and it's like, this is like a commercial. Like,
yeah,
this is a PSA. You chose on your own volition to come in here.
Right. And request up, or
at least accept a request, right? To bother even making an argument. Like, so you do care. There's some level that you do care. You don't like that I'm telling you something, right? Or I'm waking something up in you where you're like, oh, you know what? She has a point, but that's just the way the world works. I got to make her understand. Yeah. She doesn't know what reality is. I got to go inform her because she's a stupid lady. I don't know if that's actually it, but sometimes it feels like these men come up because they want to mansplain. They're like, she don't know things. She just came up here out of the blue and was like, go vegan because you need to eat your vegetables.
Exactly.
Cracks me up.
You got 2 in the queue, I think.
Right now, let's see. The donkey. I think you've been waiting a minute. Hey. Oh, never mind. I thought he was in. Dang. What is with you, TikTok? Just let him in. All right, well, maybe leave the app and come back to the donkey. That's lame. I only want to kick you if you're, being purposely obtuse. Thank you. They're little frogs.
Hi
I
there.
actually like 3D. Hello, are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 28. And you can call me Cody, so you don't have to say my name. I'm sure you hate it.
Okay. I mean, there's vegan bacon. I could just call you vegan bacon.
I think I might hate the taste of that.
I don't know, man. You'd have to try it. It's pretty good, actually. Anyway, go ahead. That's besides the point.
I might give it a shot. I was raised hunting, and that's a huge...
Oh, no.
At a minimum.
Say what you said again.
You say no to that?
Lost service. Oh, I couldn't hear you. You lost service for a second.
Okay, I grew up hunting, maintaining land, and the wildlife population. I grew up in Texas. Hogs are a major problem. So you eat the hog after you kill it.
Yeah,
waste
why
not,
are those
want
hogs
not.
there? Why are those hogs there?
Invasive species.
Where'd they come from?
They came across a ship. They're mostly Russian Razorbacks that bred
they came over here because they were going to be farmed, right?
Yeah, obviously they escaped and went wild.
So that's our fault.
Yeah.
We messed that up. I do think that humans then need to clean up their mess, but I don't think that we need to unalive them, or that shouldn't be the first. We shouldn't be sending Joe Schmoes and their children out with guns to shoot animals.
That's going to be a fundamental disagreement.
If you want to talk about conservation, I would talk with a conservationist, and they should be the ones doing those jobs. In addition,
do you think that
there's other things that you can do? We have birth control for those pigs, right? We could just reduce how much they reproduce.
Catch that many hogs.
You just pew it. We could even hire the same Joe Schmoes and their children to aim.
Why? When we'll do it for free.
No, you're not listening. I'm saying you don't need to unalive the pigs. You could do the same thing and just do birth control. But the reason why you prefer the pew with the bullet is because you benefit from it. So you're not doing this out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing it because you want that taste pleasure. It's for you. No one else.
Well, it definitely benefits me. It's cheaper for me to hunt.
It's absolutely why you do it. It's absolutely why you do it.
Yes, I enjoy it. I'm not going to argue that.
So when you take the life of one of these pigs and you watch that life drain from their eyes, does that moment feel good?
I show respect to the animal, and I use every bit of it that I can.
Does it feel good
because
to watch
I know I'm
going
to feed my family.
Wait, I want to get this straight. You enjoy unaliving animals. It feels good to take their life. Not as a necessary evil. Just for fun. You enjoy taking it. You're muted. You can unmute.
Okay, sorry about that.
So is it enjoyable? Like, let's say you know that it's not a necessary evil. Do you enjoy watching the life drain from those animals' eyes? Does it feel good that you took their life?
The hogs, yes, because they destroy so much.
I mean, humans destroy even more. Why not take out humans?
Because the hogs only destroy. And some humans need to be taken out.
So do humans. So you think it's moral for us to just take out humans that are doing destruction?
If somebody's running around murdering people, yeah.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said they're just causing a little bit of destruction to the environment. And it's affecting the farmers around them.
They're not causing a little bit of destruction.
Is it okay to vigilante style go out and pew these humans?
vigilante.
You know what? I'll answer.
style.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're sending Joe Schmoes out there with guns and their children to go take out these pigs.
I would put it in the way of if somebody walks into my house, because that's what
You
these
are
animals
the
are doing.
reason they are there.
I'm not.
Do you
Somebody
not
200 years
understand
ago
that?
is.
So why do
I'm
you
handling
enjoy,
a problem that
why
was.
do you enjoy causing pigs pain? Why do you enjoy making
I don't
them
enjoy
suffer?
the pain.
Oh,
I enjoy
I'm
what it
glad
brings
we
to my family.
finally effing got there. So you do recognize that the animals can suffer and that it's wrong to cause them suffering unnecessarily.
Okay. I see how this argument. I had one question for you. I was trying to learn from a vegan something. I don't want to argue.
Okay, listen. You
morals.
literally came up here to say I'm not vegan because I enjoy pew-pewing pigs. What if I said I don't want to be vegan, I enjoy pew-pewing cats and dogs?
Okay. It's wrong. Yeah, sure.
Oh,
I don't like
so
it,
it's
but I'm not
immoral
going to
for
tell
me
you
to do.
not to do it.
Wait. So you think it's immoral for me to get entertainment from shooting pigs and cats and dogs because they also cause great destruction, right?
I think they serve
They're
a
also an
greater
invasive
purpose.
species. But okay. So what? So it's all about how someone gives to you. That's how you respect individuals. Is how they provide for you.
I think if somebody's not doing any,
Let's put it this way. I have a dog here. And it's really
Is it okay
convenient
for you to keep that dog in prison?
No. Is it okay for me to kick this dog for entertainment and pleasure? Go ahead and unmute. Is it okay for me to kick this dog for pleasure and exercise? My benefit. If I didn't have this dog here, I wouldn't exercise. Is it moral in your perspective for me to kick this dog for exercise? It's right there. Okay. Exactly. It is immoral for me to kick a dog for my exercise. It is immoral. It is wrong for you to go out, first thought, I'm going to pew-pew these pigs so I can eat them, instead of considering what's in their best interest. Yes, they're invasive. Is it their fault that they're there? Why are they facing those consequences when we're the ones that put them there? That's our fault. We put sentient beings in a bad situation that they're trying to make the best of. They're just trying to survive, right? We should try to maintain their populations, maybe, if a conservationist finds that that's the only thing we can do. Honestly, I feel like we should let nature grow and die at its own because we don't understand those systems yet. Not even the conservationists fully understand them. And for us to start arbitrarily picking what's okay to throw out is dangerous.
Yeah.
And it kills me too because they think that because they're hunting that they're not supporting animal agriculture. It's like you're actually specifically helping animal ag right there with the hogs because the hogs are competing with their farm animals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm just done monologuing. I keep monologuing.
Oh, you got 4 people.
Yeah, got some people riled.
4 people come up.
All right, Chucky.
You need to let people speak. First of all, you're eating their food by being vegan.
Your mom is calling. Hey, are you over 18?
I am.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
It's kind of in my religion not to be.
What religion are you?
Christian, it says in the Bible, pick up your arrows and quivers.
Wait a second. So you're telling me that you can't be Christian and vegan? Is that what I'm understanding? Can't be Christian and vegan? Impossible?
No, you can be, but it just says you're allowed to.
So it is a choice. It's a choice. Therefore, why are you choosing to cause the most harm you can?
You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're cutting me off.
I know you're not listening. I'm telling you, your religion is not a valid excuse. I understand your God says you can survive using animals. I don't know if you remember, but the chapter 1, you should read, usually when you read a book, you start from chapter 1. There was what was called the Garden of Eden, right? God's most perfect creation, in fact. Pretty sure he says that. Says that all the plants and the fruits are your food. And they lived in harmony. Nobody used each other or exploited each other. There was no dying. There was no suffering. They lived in peace as vegans. It wasn't until sin entered the world that now God said, well, you get the harsh conditions you need to survive, you can use animals. That's what my understanding is. So it sounds like to me that you should try to aim to what God's perfect world is, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to do what God said is the perfect thing to do instead of causing unnecessary harm? I'm also sure it says in the Bible that you can only unalive animals if you need to eat them. So taking their life for your taste pleasure is just like graping an animal.
That's not
It's
what I'm
unnecessary.
saying.
It's unnecessary.
What I'm saying is God didn't just change his mind because we're having a hard time. He didn't just say,
Yes, he did. He said, because you have sin, you have to like use animals to survive.
He didn't just say
So shouldn't you try to live as closely to God's 1.0 perfect plan as possible? Wouldn't that be the best thing? I feel like you right now, it's like you asked God for the car keys to the car, and he didn't want you to have them. You took them, and now you're out joyriding, running people over.
Yeah, whatever, you fucking fruitcake.
You're the one that believes in a sky daddy telling you what to do. Plus, being a fruitcake. Being a fruitcake, actually fruitcake is pretty good. I enjoy fruitcake. And if you're referring to sexual orientation, again, not an insult, okay? It has nothing to do with anything else. I don't know why people associate your sexual orientation with intelligence or something, or I don't know. It really makes me angry when people are homophobic, sexist, not homophobic, excuse me, heterosexist. It really upsets me a lot. You're like, no wonder you can't understand what I'm talking about. You're doing it to humans still.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Please, no one, do not come up here and bring up any of those isms. I just don't care. I don't want to hear. If you don't care about human rights, just leave. All right. I don't know who we'll do. I guess.
Grim's been asking Grim and that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Who was it?
Grim.
Grim. Okay, Grim, you'll be next. All right. What was this? The Florida Gemini. Are you over 18?
Am I what?
Are you over 18?
Yes.
Okay. Why aren't you vegan?
Because I am a regular human being who loves to eat hamburgers and loves to grill ribs on Friday night.
Is it wrong for me to kick dogs for exercise?
I just want to say that.
Is it? Can you answer my questions? Oh, I know. I know. Victims. She won't let me talk. I want to say my part that it's okay that I'm a supremacist and I oppress people. It's okay. All right, Graham, come on up. Please be genuine. I won't make fun of you if you're just genuine.
Okay, so
hey, are you over 18?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're really quiet. Sorry, are you far away from your mic?
Yeah, hold on.
There we go. I got you.
Okay, so I'm here to have respect for you and have respect for me. I'm here to talk about why I'm not vegan.
Graham, I don't want you to. Yeah, just answer the questions. It's my live. I might be rude to you. I might kick you off. I might mute you. Just be prepared, okay?
Personally,
don't cry about it. Either leave or answer the questions.
So, if God made animals for human consumption, then he wouldn't make them if there wasn't
Graham,
a point.
were you here? Were you listening?
Yes, I'm here, and I'm here to talk.
Okay, so what was chapter 1?
Chapter 1? I've only been here for a couple minutes. Okay.
What was chapter 1 of your Bible?
I'm not going to
Was it the Garden of Eden?
I'm not going to.
Well, it looks like somebody had their heart broken. I'm going to see you later, Grim. It doesn't sound like it was going to be a good conversation anyway. I just got another warning. I think I'm just going to call it there. I'm pretty exhausted and
yeah, I can see
I'm done with the religious argument. Like, I literally just went over it, guys.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll just sum it up. No religion justifies violating someone's bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
No religion justifies that. And every religion, I'm pretty sure, is like focused on compassion and peace. And most of them mention that you shouldn't mistreat animals. So again, it's just not an argument. And on top of that, even if there was a religion that was saying it's your right to take someone's life arbitrarily, like, what kind of a God are you worshiping?
Yeah. When there's so many different gods.
Exactly. That too. Like, whose religion is the right one? How do you know so for sure? Oh, these people, they just so in their like blindfolds and they're like, no, the way that I have found the world is the way it works. It's like you have to look at other people's experiences. You have to read science. You have to hear, you have to look, you know, you can't just accept. I don't know. I just feel like people just watch TV and maybe they do a little bit of internet research, but nobody's really looking into, nobody watches Dominion for some reason. I feel like I come across so many people that, farmers even, that don't even know what cows or any of the animals they raise go through sometimes. It's mind-blowing. Everyone should watch Dominion. It just shows you standard practices with all those labels, humane, grass-fed, small local farms, and small local slaughterhouses, etc. Go watch Dominion, free on YouTube. Or Dairy is Scary. Really short, 10 minutes, shows you what dairy cows go through. That's actually what really, not this particular video, but what happens in dairy is what made me eventually, or it made me like go vegan. It was what clicked.
Right.
Watching those mothers bellow for their babies, and you know, it's just terrible. Not to mention the grape, that's so graphic.
I know it is.
But
it's terrible.
Anyway, thank you, Lori, for being up here and kicking ass.
So when are you up again? Are you up?
I'll be up tomorrow. 3 p.m. PDT. We're on the same time. I'm just saying it for the audience. Right. But, 3 p.m. Okay. I'll go live again. We'll see how long I do it at 3 p.m. I might switch back to mornings and then try the whole week. We'll see. But 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, well, get some rest, man.
Yes, you too. And I'll see you. Oh, yeah. What's up?
I did send that information to your DM.
I'm going to watch it right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Cool. All right, everyone, have a good vegan day. And if you're not vegan, go vegan.